they can push forward. I mean, this is a good football team with a lot of good personalities, a lot of good young men. I know Coach Cronick really likes the attitude of this group, and he's looking forward to coaching them. And coaching is very much a puzzle. It's like working a crossword puzzle or a jigsaw puzzle. You got certain pieces that have to go in certain places. You have certain letters that have to go in certain blocks in a crossword. It's kind of like that in coaching. They got to find the right fit for everybody. Somebody played last year in one position may not be there again this year. So they have to find all those pieces and make them fit, and we got to do it in a hurry with this week, next week, and then the first conference game against Newberry.
Tonight's opponent, St. Augustine, is a first-time opponent. Bears have been playing for 100 years. First time these two schools have ever played on the gridiron. We're going to take our first break, come back with more, including the starting lineups. We'll hear from our Carolina West Wireless sideline reporter, Lanny Ford, when we continue. This is Bears football, Bears game day, being brought to you right here on WSVM Radio 96.5 FM and the Bears Sports Network.
Quality work that's on time and within budget. Sound too good to be true? Well, it is true with David E. Looper & Company, a general contracting company that has a diverse range of building experience, including medical office complexes, retail shopping centers, educational facilities, as well as design-build projects. They take pride in the quality of their work that's completed on time and within budget. For your future building needs, contact David E. Looper & Company, licensed in multiple states, fully insured and bonded. David E. Looper & Company, a proud sponsor of the LR Bears.
Blowing Rock Draft House and Brewery is a proud supporter of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears Den. Live music, brain-busting trivia, and our drink specials keep the Bears coming back. Join us Saturdays and ask for a brewery tour. That's Blowing Rock Draft House and Brewery is walking distance from Lenoir-Rhyne's campus at the intersection of Highland Avenue and Lenoir-Rhyne Boulevard in our newly renovated Howard Mill location. Honor the craft with a toast to our Bears at Blowing Rock Draft House and Brewery. And go Bears!
Back here, moments away from tonight's starting lineups. We'll take another break as we get ready to hear. Let's keep it right here for the marching band, Lenoir-Rhyne's marching band, and tonight's national anthem. Lenoir-Rhyne's marching band with tonight's national anthem. Let's go down to the sideline. Our Carolina West Wireless sideline reporter, Lanny Ford, checks in for the first time in 2019. And, Lanny, a lot of red down there, isn't there?
It's a great day for football. A little bit on the warm side, but the best part about it, it's been hot all preseason, so it's not like it's something they're not going to be used to. Shade is starting to come around, but, it gets hot on the turf, but I think these guys are here to play.
When you talk about Lenoir-Rhyne football this year, Jack, as you mentioned, so many expectations offensively and defensively. What do you think the Bears will be looking to do tonight against an opponent they've never seen before?
Well, I think one of the things it's kind of, I won't say it's an advantage, but it's one of the good things about an early season game against somebody you've not played before. You haven't seen them, they haven't seen you, so you have to really go out there and kind of start with your base stuff, and then you work from there. Now, I know they have seen film of us from last year, and we have seen it of them from last year through other people, even though we don't have many opponents, if any, that play. But the Bears really are going to be looking tonight, in my opinion, at the Bears. Coach Cronick even said that in his pregame comments to the group in the Bears Club tonight, that, they got to worry about them tonight because they don't know anything about this other team or what they can do. We do know that St. Augustine will have athletes. They always do. They're going to have some athletes. You get you in one-on-one situations could be tough. It's something else to keep an eye on, and maybe Lanny can kind of watch this down close better than we can. I counted. I didn't see but 7 offensive linemen in the offensive line drills. 7 offensive linemen for St. Augustine.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, as hot as it is down there, if they've only got 7 offensive linemen, it's going to be hard to, pass block very well all night, as hot as it is down there.
They had 40 men on their roster that they submitted to us. So you're looking at the way things are shaping up. This could be a big time blowout for the Bears if things go in the right direction. Lenoir-Rhyne comes in off of last year's 12-2 season, best turnaround in college football, and St. Augustine at 2-7. They had one of their games that was postponed because of the storm that came through in early September, one of the hurricanes last year. So they are a team that's looking to find an identity. They have not had a winning season. They've only had one winning season this decade. You got to go back to 2015 and before they had a winning season. So they are a team, a program that is building out of the CIAA. While Lenoir-Rhyne is 8th ranked in the nation, they are right now nationally relevant. As the Bears tonight, pretty much same familiar faces, and we're going to talk about the returning starters, this roster for Lenoir-Rhyne that Coach Cronick has put together this year, and more about tonight's game. Stay with us. This is Bears Game Day, being powered by Carolina West Wireless on the Bears Sports Network.
Hey, what do you want? I'll go order for us.
Paramount Kia in Hickory. We want to see you driving a new Kia or, hey, a quality pre-owned Kia. We've got a huge selection of new and pre-owned Kias. You got to get to Paramount Kia in Hickory, Highway 70, ParamountKia.com.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
If you're thinking about selling your car, we'll buy your car, truck, or SUV, even if you don't buy a car from us. So during those timeouts, check our inventory at ParamountAuto.com and score a touchdown at Paramount Automotive.
Boy, that was a hard hit.
When the Bears get banged up, they go to Richard Williams.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
Bear blood red, and so a lot of fans are here. The Bears are tucked in their cardinal bear blood red uniforms with the black helmets. Hey, Jack, first time the Bears have worn black helmets in 20 years, only the third time in school history.
Well, I tell you what, if the fans over here that are in the sunlight had the choice, they would have liked to have a white out tonight instead of a red out, because I'll tell you what, it is plumb warm out there, as we like to say. But the Bears, it's just going to be an exciting first quarter to me, because these guys came off that game last year, after an amazing season, ran into Valdosta, and, it just got waxed down there pretty good is the best way to say it. But, they have done so much in preparation. And you think of what the Bears have been through with the Neil McGahee facility starting construction, and then we were in there a while ago. It's just amazing, that facility. Then you come out here and see what happened with the stands. Everybody's thinking, oh, the stands, it's going to be awful. And the stands and everything, it looks like the regulation home game. I mean, there's nothing changed. So the Bears have all the expectation on their back now, so all we can say is go Bears.
We got a bunch of new sponsors this year on the Bears Sports Network. Great corporate sponsors and citizens throughout the Catawba Valley area. Fry Regional Medical Center back on board. People's Bank, Center Street Eats, Southside Power and Fitness, and PDQ among those supporting Lenoir-Rhyne Athletics this year. And we had a brand new radio station, flagship home of LR football. Eddie Jolly, thank you for all that you've done for WSVM, AM, and FM radio out of Valdez. We're glad to be back in the Catawba Valley once again. The Bears, well, they're going to kick off tonight, and they're going to be going left to right, going to the closed end here at Moret Stadium, while St. Augustine, the Falcons, they're in white and blue. They got the dark blue pants and the blue helmets. The Bears in their black helmets with the LR on it, on their bonnet, which is black this year. They're going to be kicking off. Jack, we're going to be talking about, I think, a whole host of newcomers this year, even though the Bears had a bunch of starters back this year on the squad. They got some freshmen that they hope to make an impact early on, especially on the special teams.
Well, that's exactly what you said is what I was just thinking. Another interesting thing to follow tonight will be how many freshmen do see playing time. Now, remember, they can play up to, 4 games now before they're redshirted. So, they could conceivably play the first 4 games of the season and then be redshirted. So we'll see how that plays out, as the season moves along. But anybody that's dressed out in red tonight is probably going to have a chance to maybe see some action depending on how they have shown up in practice and what they have shown the coaches.
All right, so Chase Albaugh is expected to kick it off tonight. At the first game, I forgot my binoculars.
Wow. Can't believe you did that.
I know.
That's okay.
And here's the kick, ball to toe, and it is high and driving the return man back inside the 1-yard line. He'll come over the right side, hit, and run out of bounds that time over the far side. I think Tate Beaver, the Fred T. Ford High product, making the tackle that time, and that is where St. Augustine, everybody says St. Augustine, but it's St. Augustine, according to their sports information director, will start at the 17. They're going to come out with a transfer quarterback, Jack, at quarterback, a guy that we weren't expecting to start, but he comes from Troy State. Jalen Jones, he's a senior. 24 transfers or junior college players on this squad. They didn't bring very many. They got 40 to 50 players on their roster right now, and that is Jones, number 1. He is in the shotgun.
And they've already come out. Look, they've spread the field. There's nobody in the backfield but the quarterback. 3 wides one way, 2 wides the other. We know what they're going to try to do.
He stands at his 10. It's a quarterback draw, and the Bears knock him down, meet him behind the line of scrimmage that time at about the 15-yard line. Amari Houston in on the stop that time, and Sherrod Williams, Clayton Horn, the 2 inside linebackers that set the starters. Richburg Canty, Dan Luba, Amari Houston, and Jaquan Artis. There, the linebackers up front. Clayton Horn and Sherrod Williams, the all-conference linebackers on the inside. Yvonne Milliken, Javaris Smith, Landon Scott, Kyle Duggar, and Eric Jackson round out the secondary. The Bears in a 4-2-5. Looks like they're going to bring pressure. 2nd and 11. Jones, back to pass, under pressure, scrambles, trying to run left, trips, and is going to be run out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Short pickup on the play of about 3, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 8 now for the Falcons.
Well, they couldn't block them all. They only had 5 blockers in there, and the Bears brought 6, so immediate pressure was on. Didn't have to cover very far down the field, but this quarterback, the one we weren't sure that we would see him, Jalen Jones, he's got some quickness and some agility. He was able to avoid the rush and get outside and pick up a couple of yards.
5 wide again, 3 to the far, 2 to the near. Jones will look to the sidelines, get the play. Again, St. Augustine out of Raleigh. First time these 2 schools have ever met. The Bears are going to, looks like, rush 4. Back to pass. Jones looking downfield, has time, throws it downfield, and it is caught, dropped, and intercepted. Picked up by Duggar. He's going to go into the end zone. Touchdown. Kyle Duggar, NFL prospect, gets the first big turnover of the season, and he took it in from about 25 yards. Lanny, you're right down there in front. He just kind of popped in his lap, didn't it?
Yeah, I was really surprised. I thought it hit the ground, but undoubtedly it didn't. It popped straight up. He was in a great position, and it was off to the house. I didn't think anybody would stop him.
So Kyle Duggar, who had some NFL scouts this week, in fact, Carolina Panthers general manager Marty Herney and Dallas Cowboys scouts were here this week, and Duggar comes up with the first big play of the 2019 season, an interception returning to the house. Bears lead it 6-0, 13:34 to go in the first.
I'm like Lanny. I thought that ball hit the ground, but it didn't. Evidently, it hit something else, and it just popped straight up in the air, and Duggar was just right there. I mean, it's not going to get any easier all season for Duggar than that.
Extra point by Elbaugh is good. 7-0 Lenoir-Rhyne. Back with more. This is the Bears Sports Network.
In pain? Tired of wasting time and money with little or no results? Call Muscle RX today. Muscle RX is now proud to be an
preseason NFL prospect, as we said during the big play. And, you know, it was a kind of a play, Lanny. It was a low pass to the receiver who looked like he's going to haul it in for the first down, and all of a sudden the ball kind of kicked up in the air and he picked it off.
I think when he rolled, because I thought I looked at the marker, and by the time I looked back, Duggar was running the end zone, but I looked at the marker. But I thought he caught the ball and rolled over, and the ball flipped up out of his grasp somehow.
Bears will take it, so it's 7-0. This team that was second in the nation in turnover margin last year comes up with a big turnover on the first minute and a half of the football game. So Elbaugh again will approach the football. Just kicked off a minute and a half ago, and he'll do it again. Here's a nice high kick. He'll drive the return man back in the end zone. He's going to run it out to the right-hand side, 15, and get shy of the 20 once again. Then number 19 that made the tackle. So a big tackle that time by the special teams of Michael Brown, running back. The redshirt senior came as an option quarterback, Jack. He's went through three different locations with three different coaches, and now he is a wide receiver, wing back, and special teams guy.
That's what Division II and lower level football is all about. You get people that just want to play football, and that's how it works. And speaking of Elbaugh, the kicks, unbelievable height. Last year he didn't have that. Those balls were sailing extremely high. His kickoffs look magnificent tonight with the height and the depth he's getting on it.
This time they run an inside carry to Jeremiah Miller, leading rusher, only a 5'9 senior, and he got barely back to the line of scrimmage. The Bears stuffed him up the middle. That's Luba and Amari Houston. My opinion, Jack, the Bears have the best defensive line in the South Atlantic Conference and maybe one of the best in college football. Luba is an all-conference and an all-American candidate in Houston and Artis and Richburg, Kansas. Just solid. And they got this could be one of the top defenses in Division II football this year. 2nd and 12, lost 2 that time. Back to pass, nowhere to go. Under pressure, down he goes. Tripped up and knocked down at the 6-yard line. Goes the quarterback, Jalen Jones, as he had drugged down in behind. Looked like everybody, Lanny, on that defensive line had a hand on him.
Judy, there's no way he's got that kind of time. If he's going to make a pass, it's got to be something quick and hot because the defensive line is just not giving him that kind of time. And if you guys haven't noticed it, this is going to be a short game. They're using every bit of the play clock, every play.
Okay. And Lanny Ford, our Carolina West Wireless sideline reporter this year. Glad to have Lanny aboard for the second year in a row. So it's now 3rd and a long, 21. Jones will stand at his own 2. Bears up 7-0. Turnover, and they're going to call a timeout here. And we'll take a quick break, come back with more. This is the Bears Sports Network on 96.5 FM, WSVM.
What do you want? I'll go order for us.
Barbecue sandwich is good.
Nice, you got it. You want a cheer wine with that? It's Cherry Bliss and perfect with barbecue.
I don't know. I've never.
In NCAA Division II, community and
Lanny Ford down on the sidelines. Indeed, Bear time. 3rd and 21. Here comes a drop play and then a hole for the running back who's knocked at about the 22-yard line. He's going to be shy of the first down, but that was John Miller on the delayed handoff and found a little bit of a hole and made it close on a 3rd down and long, but he's still going to be about 5 yards short. That's going to force a punt now for St. Augustine. That's going to put the guy who scored the touchdown early on an interception, Kyle Duggar, he's going to stand back at his 40, and it's going to be hold your breath every time Duggar goes back to return a kick this year.
We'll see how much film they watched of the Bears kicking game if they kick it to him. You know, I feel like by the time we get to the conference, he's not going to get a lot of balls kicked his way.
This is Anthony Perry, the punter. He drops the punt this time. He's running around in his backfield near the goal line, fumbles the football. Bears are going to recover at about the 4-yard line. That had disaster written all over it, Lanny, down on the sidelines.
You know, he didn't. He saw a lot of red shirts coming and kind of panicked instead of just trying to get it off. And then I knew when he took off, there was no way he was going to outrun them.
The bad part is, you know, Duggar's got a chance to return a punt and up his stats, and they can't get it off, and then he gets a freebie while on the interception. So, you know, this is, you know, I just feel for Coach St. Augustine coach, because right now nothing is going your way. I mean, everything that could possibly go wrong in the first 2 or 3 minutes of this game has gone wrong.
Tim Chavis is the head coach, and the Bears on offense now for the first time this season, and a flag come down on maybe they took too much time as the yellow flags and set the offense for the Bears. They have some newcomers up on the offensive line as we check out the penalty here.
Too many men.
Yeah,
on the defense.
Defense has got 11
Thanks,
12
Lanny.
players, yeah.
So up front for the Bears, it's going to be Jordan Brooks, Curtis Feeney, Ronnie Clifton, the new center for LR, Jason Poe at guard, and Ian Brinson up front for LR, Grayson Willingham. Record-setting quarterback, redshirt junior, goes under center. Stevens in the backfield. They're going to run the wing tee. Man in motion. Turns, hands it off, straight up the middle. Trying to get some room. That's Stevens down close to about the 1. He's going to be shy, so it's going to bring up 2nd and goal.
You know, this could be a problem, Juju. You and I were here for the scrimmage 2 weeks ago, and the first part of the scrimmage was goal line right down here on this end of the field. The Bear offense could not score. The first O couldn't score on the first D. We watched a lot of that down there, remember, and they couldn't score. And they tried to power that ball in, and they didn't gain anything. So, you know, maybe straight-ahead power running might be something the Bears have to work on. We'll see.
They shift the offensive line unbalanced right. They run that way straight up the middle. There's a little bit of a hole and a seam and a touchdown for the Bears. 10:39 to go. LR gets its second turnover of the ball game, and they'll take it in the end zone in 2 plays. It's LR 13 and St. Augustine nothing. 2 plays and 3 yards.
Yeah, they shifted into an unbalanced. It's a formation they used a lot last year, different things. I don't know if St. Augustine had seen it or not, but they shifted into the unbalanced and then powered it in from that side.
So here comes the extra point. As we're waiting to see the ball carrier that time for Lenoir-Rhyne, number 37, Rajay Bradley. One of those freshmen at fullback. He got the start tonight, in fact. Redshirt freshman out of Waycross, Georgia, gets the touchdown, and it's the extra point. It's 14-0. Lenoir-Rhyne will take a break, come back with more. This is Bears football on the Lenoir-Rhyne Football Network.
Center Street East could
An active guy, I have a family to take care of, and a heart attack wasn't really in the plan. The pain was so bad, I couldn't even talk. The Fry team was so nice and so good to me. They give me a second chance, more time to do what I love, more time to be with my family. I needed a doctor. I found an expert in my heart.
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Guys, we played less than 5 minutes at the season opener for Lenoir-Rhyne, and the Bears on top here 14-0 on a couple of turnovers by St. Augustine. And kicking off once again, this time it goes out of the end zone, and it's a touchback. So I believe that might be Jefferson Norwood who kicked it that time for Lenoir-Rhyne, and a nice long kick, and that's going to start St. Augustine at their own 25-yard line. And there's a couple of scores in and around the South Atlantic Conference. Actually, the league got underway on Thursday. Wingate beat J.C. Smith 42-6. Carson Newman knocked off 30th-ranked West Florida 2013. Delta State over Tusculum 24-7. North Greenville defeated Newberry 17-7. And earlier today in the SAC, it was West Georgia knocking off Catawba 37-9. We'll get to more scores as the night progresses. Right here, it's 14-0. Bears on top. Juju Phillips, Jack Huss, Mike McCree, Lanny Ford, cast of thousands. We're glad you are aboard as well. This is Lenoir-Rhyne Football 2019 WSVM Radio. We are so proud to be bringing you Lenoir-Rhyne Football again this year on 96.5, and there's a handoff up the middle, and that'll be a short pickup of about 3, 2nd, and 7. And if you're St. Augustine, Jack, if you're the Falcons, you just want to try to handle the football and take some time off the clock here, right?
Yeah, Lenny made a great point a while ago. They're taking a lot of time on the clock, and sure enough, that's what they want to do. If I'm down 14-0 and Lenoir-Rhyne's only run 2 plays, on offense, you got to realize, hey, this could be a tough night. So what you start thinking about is utilizing your own personnel as best you can. Take a look at some of the players you have, give some of them a chance to play maybe. But more than anything, you want to get out of here with some type of a decent performance. And right now, they're way behind in that department.
3rd and 6 now. Jones, the quarterback.
They do have a quarterback that can make things happen. We've already seen that. He can make things happen with his feet, and he's not a bad thrower of the football.
Just hasn't gotten a lot of protection. He's been scrambling quite a bit tonight.
He hadn't
3rd
had
and
much
long.
of a chance.
Back to pass this time. He's going to heave it downfield on the far side. Bears have good coverage. That's Javaris Smith on the coverage that time on the wide receiver. Had him step for step, Kyle Levere, and that's going to force a punt. So 3 and out. And that Bears secondary, which has already come up with a turnover here tonight on the interception by Kyle Duggar. That time had excellent coverage.
Yeah, good coverage over there on that side of the field. But, he did have time to throw that time. They kept about everybody in. They got in a formation with some tight folks in there, and they were able to block everybody because they had a lot of folks in the backfield. They only had 2 receivers out on that route.
Anthony Baird will stand at his own 16, and he's the punter tonight, and he will kick it away to Duggar, who's standing in the shadows on the open end here at Moret Stadium at the 29. Jack, this is the 30th anniversary to the day that Moret Stadium opened against Wofford College back then. Fair catch by Duggar, and he fumbles the football, kicks it forward. Let's see who gets it. A little nonchalant by the Bears senior, and that's who they're motioning. Let's see who has it. It is St. Augustine. They get the turnover at the LR 43-yard line on a really an unusual play by Duggar, usually very sure-handed. That time he dropped the football, then kicked it forward, and the Falcons recover.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good you are or how good you've been. Every play is a different play in your history. And Kyle starts off with an interception and then a drop punt, which is very unusual for him.
So that's at the 43, and that is where the Falcons will start it. They were going right to left to the open end here at Moret Stadium, which are in shadows right now. Out of the gun, Jones back to pass, dumps it down the middle behind his receiver, incomplete, 2nd and 10. Bears had good man-to-man coverage that time, but it was the quarterback threw it behind the receiver. And again, as you look at some of these starters, St. Augustine, they came in at 2-7 a year ago. The year before that, they were 3-7. Then in 2015, I believe they were 6-5. But head coach Tim Chavis, in his 4th year, is 9-20 overall. and he's trying to get this program turned around. 2nd and 10. Handoff up the middle. Squirting through there's the running back and has the first down. Running on the far side. Kicked out of bounds that time goes Troy Gathers. And Milliken is the man who's made the stop. Not before. He got down to the LR-26 and a first down for the Falcons.
Yeah, the Bears might have been, set up for that a little bit. They had been able to stop the run with just those 4 interior guys, and they got blocked that time a little bit in a pass rush situation, and gave up to the old draw play. Been around forever.
First down at the 26 of LR after the turnover. Back to pass Jones. Looking downfield, pumps. He's going to run it, tuck it at the 25, and shoestring tackle that time by Clayton Horn. Down to the 23-yard line, the senior captain of that defense, captain on the team for the Bears. And he made the shoestring tackle, gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Good job by Horn getting up quickly, too, because it looked like that time that the quarterback, Jones, had a real opportunity to make some big yards over near their own boundary. But Clayton Horn with a good job of getting up quickly to tackle a quick and elusive quarterback.
2nd down and 7. Out of the gun, Jones again, lofted end zone. And it is one-handed catch. He caught the ball, but he stepped out of bounds. They're going to call a touchdown. I thought he stepped out of bounds over here at the 5.
He threw his hat.
The hat's down.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be an incomplete. He stepped out of bounds. He can't be the first one to touch the ball when he comes back in.
Wait a second. It says 1st and goal here.
Well, we don't know what he said. It's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
Why did he throw the hat?
Well, I thought he couldn't catch the ball once he ran out of bounds and came back in.
Unless he was pushed out, maybe.
Well, I wonder how long it takes to establish himself. That was a heck of a catch, too.
Yes, it was. One-handed in the end zone. And that's a touchdown. Here's an extra point. Looked kind of awkward, but it went through the upright. So 7 points on the board for St. Augustine. And that was a touchdown pass by Jones to the receiver, made a one-handed catch in the end zone. 14-7, 7:59 to go in the first. This is Bears football, powered by Carolina West Wireless on the Bears Sports Network.
Oh, this? I was playing catch a little too hard with the dog. He's got quite an arm. I've been through this before. It'll be better in a couple of days. Probably.
Visit one of Ortho Carolina's specialists right away by logging on to orthocarolina.com. Leave the waiting to this guy.
Come on, honey.
Ortho Carolina. You improved.
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
So St. Augustine takes advantage of a turnover, a muff punt by the Bears, and a touchdown pass gets them on the board, 14-7. And here's the kickoff. Lenoir-Rhyne fields it at the 25, 30, 35, and 40-yard line. You see number 20 out there. That used to be Zay Huff, but that's another freshman running back, Marcus Smith, freshman out of Rockmart, Georgia, a playmaker, according to the coaches, who had a fine camp, and he gets the Bears good field position at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, the Bears are going to be always looking for those backs about the size of that young man. Jaquay Mitchell and some of the guys, they're not that big, but boy, are they elusive, and they got the quick feet.
So the Bears offense, which is only one run, 2 plays.
Down on the goal line.
Yes, it is. Pass here, Willingham, short drop, completes it over there, close to a first down. May have been Young who hauled in the reception. Demarius Hampton that time on the reception. Demarius, 6'3", redshirt junior out of Carthage, North Carolina, pickup of 8 near midfield. Bears bunch up the formation. Willingham will be under center this time, looks to the sidelines, gets the play. Bears are going to come out on that wing T look.
tight formation. Young is on one side, far side tight end Drake Starks. Man in motion goes Mitchell. He'll get the sweep along the left side. He'll get the first down. Cuts back into territory of St. Augustine before he's run out of bounds at the 43. We'll go down to the sideline. Our Carolina West Wireless sideline reporter is Lanny Ford. Lanny, any feeling as you hear about the LR sideline after that touchdown by St. Augustine?
I would not want to be in halftime with Coach Cronick because I think they let down a little intensity after those two quick scores, and I think they're going to tighten it back up again.
It's one thing he mentioned today in his pregame talk about his team will play hard that time. Here's a handoff and just flipped over. A nice run down to about the 40-yard line. 5-yard pickup before he was upended that time, and that was the Bear running back, and looked like, again, that was Marcus Smith. And that's a pickup of 5, 2nd and 5. Bears are shuffling a bunch of different running backs in and out. And now Wayne Bell is in there for Lenoir-Rhyne. Warren Bell, number 47. And he gets the handoff, and he tries to cut the corner on the left side and is brought down at the line of scrimmage. Nice tackle by St. Augustine. Warren Bell, the redshirt freshman fullback. Jack, he was a high school quarterback at Scotland County. Got hurt last year, second game of the year, as a backup fullback, and that time he couldn't cut the corner.
Well, that was a play we would not have seen last year. The fullback running wide. Our upbacks primarily ran between the tackles, but he ran, that was a design play to go wide. That's a little new wrinkle in the offense we haven't seen.
3rd down and 4. Quick pass over here. Willingham completes it shy of the first down, intended for Mitchell at the 39. So he's going to bring up a 4th down situation. So the Bears are going left and right. They've shown a bunch of different looks to the running backs. We've seen 3 different fullbacks already today. So LR is going to do that running back by committee once again, and going to go for it here on 4th and 4. They got to get to the 35. They have it at the 39, going to the close end of the end zone here. It's like the St. Augustine may have jumped offside, but they didn't.
Ronnie Clifton is a new center.
And he's a snapper.
And he didn't know to snap that ball. Boy, when he jumped right there, if he snaps the ball, we got 5 yards and a first down.
Willingham's under center. Hands off. Quick sweep over here. Mitchell first down at the 25-yard line and run out of bounds. Jaquay Mitchell. Nice run by the junior out of Bailey, North Carolina, who had 4 touchdowns running, and he's a great all-around return man, Jack. A good runner and a really good route runner as a receiver. That time picked up the first down.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the entire right side of the line and all the backs over here, everybody, that was a well-blocked play. He got 5 yards down the field before anybody got near him.
27, first down. Man in motion again. Handoff. This is Stevens. That time, Stevens bulls his way inside the 20 down to the 18 and close to another first down. Goes the Bears' leading ball carrier coming back, a sophomore out of Savannah. Leading ball carrier with over 750 yards. And that time picked up 8. 2nd and short. Quick handoff around the right side. First down, running inside the 10, inside the 5. Knocked out of bounds close to the goal line goes Marcus Smith. That freshman, again out of Rockmart, Georgia, took the sweep on the jet sweep and took it around the right side and actually stepped out of bounds at about the 8. First down, Bears.
5'9", 180. He fits right into the mold of those guys that play those positions, those wing positions the Bears like so well.
We got a timeout on the field with 4:31 to go here in the first quarter. It's Lenoir-Rhyne 14 and driving, and St. Augustine 7. Stay with us. This is the Bears Sports Network. here, Juju Phillips, Jack Huss. We're now at the first and goal for Lenoir-Rhyne at the 8-yard line after the nice run. Bears trying to drive and score again. They hand it this time. Looks like Bell. He'll drive it down close to about the 5-yard line, bringing up a second and goal. Lanny, you're down there close. Give us some action there.
You know, Coach Connick came out and he talked about that stepping out of bounds. I thought he was going to get one, but he did step out of bounds. That was the right call. The other thing, Jack, you'll understand this. In the wing tee, your halfback is a blocking back on your power plays and your blast up inside. That's a little unusual to see, but they're closing in on it pretty quick.
Yeah, those guys over a period of time last year got a lot better at that, too. That was something they weren't used to doing.
Bears go in motion and they're going to roll left. Willingham rolling left, throwing in the corner of the end zone. Out of bounds and incomplete. Intended way on the far side for Derek Young, but nobody was open that time. Looked like that St. Augustine was in a zone and there was just nobody open.
Yeah, it was a flood-type pass that you would see on the goal line rolling the quarterback, and the further he went, there was just nowhere to go. His one option may have been somebody coming from the backside dragging toward the middle, but he didn't see anybody, so he basically threw the ball away there.
Third down now and goal. Bears on top 14-7.
Well, we had a first down at like the 9-yard line. That's always a tough situation, especially when you start, in the first play you only gain a couple of yards.
Josh Ramser, transfer from Elon, graduate transfer. Newton Conover High product, back to wide pass. Open. Man is wide open out of the backfield. That's Mitchell inside the 5, and he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown! Willingham on the touchdown. Third down and goal from the 8. Connects with Jaquay Mitchell, who takes it around the corner and into the land of milk and honey. With 3:44 to go in the first quarter, it's LR 20 and St. Augustine 7.
Yeah, that was a real missed assignment over there by St. Augustine's on the defense. Jaquay Mitchell just flared out of the backfield, and there was nobody around. The receiver just cleared him out over there, and when he ran out, there was nobody there. He could have run forever.
11 plays, 59 yards, and Willingham throws his first touchdown pass of the season. Albaugh's kick is up and good, and with 3:44 to go in the first, it's LR 21 and St. Augustine 7. Stay with us. Bears football being powered by Carolina West Wireless on the Bears Sport.
For another exciting football season, Everett has been a proud sponsor of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears for 25 years, and we wish the Bears a safe and successful season. And August means it's all systems go for another winning season with the Carolina Panthers. We have a tradition of winning in the Carolinas, and when you want to be a winner in the car, truck, or SUV game, come see the sales and service champions at Everett, because if you didn't get an Everett deal, you dropped the ball, baby. Woo!
I remember it like somebody flipped a switch and something was really wrong. The staff at Fry treated me like family, and they saved my life. These days, I'm taking time for things that really matter, because every moment is a gift. I needed a doctor, and I found an expert in my heart.
Football, 501 total wins in school history. And this is Norwood's kick, and again drives the man way back in his end zone, and he's going to run it out. And he is tackled in the end zone. That's the safety, gentlemen. It sure is. He's tackled 3 yards in the end zone. Wow.
That's what you call trying to make something out of nothing. I mean, in defense of the young man, he kind of walked up like, okay, I'm not coming out, and then he just took off running. He thought he could make something happen for a team down as bad as they are. And now all they have to do now is punt the ball from the 20-yard line back to the Bears. And give, if they want to put, my mind went blank. If they want to put Kyle Duggar back there, they can let him return his kick, because most of the teams use their punter on a safety kick rather than the kickoff man.
Jack, already getting some messages in, coming in loud and clear on WSVN 96.5 online with all connected devices and speakers from beautiful Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Rex Marley, former baseball player, Lenoir-Rhyne, LR grad.
Great.
Tuning in. Thanks, Rex, for the text, and glad you're listening. Bears look good right now, 23-7 with 3:41 to go here in the first quarter. Lanny, you were down there close to the sideline and in the end zone. Talk about what you saw down there.
Well, you know what happens? The biggest thing that happens on a punt or a kick is when the timing is off. And he thought he could kind of lay back there and the kickoff team would kind of let up. Well, they didn't. And then when he decided to come out, it was way too late. They were inside the 5 when he tried to make that move.
So 3 turnovers in this football game for St. Augustine, and we're still in the first quarter and 3.5 minutes to go here, and the Bears on top here 23-7. So they're going to kick it off. The Falcons will, and again, it's Anthony Barrett. Will boot it away. Maybe a different guy there. It's going to be a different man booting it is Andre Labatt. And he's going to kick it to Duggar, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Duggar's back there, and he's, you know, for a right-footed kicker, he's in the position where the ball would go, you would think. So we'll see what happens. But I certainly I agree with Coach Cronick's decision to put Kyle Duggar back there on the kickoff and let him run with it.
I'm letting Kyle Duggar touch the ball anytime he wants to.
You got that right.
And I wouldn't be surprised we'll see him even on offense a couple of plays this year like we did last year.
And we got to talk about Coach Taylor, Joel Taylor, our new defensive coordinator. I tell you what, I'm excited about the defense. As you said, Juju, got great personnel, but Coach Taylor took over in the spring, and really there's been not one single step back in this defense with a new coordinator coming in.
And he's been here before. He was hired by Fred Goldsmith back in 2010. Before he went on and bounced and was at the Citadel for a number of years and coached under Mike Houston and Coach Brent Thompson. There's a short kick at the 35, 40, 45 has some space. This is Cruz at the 50 getting into the territory of the Falcons at the 45. So nice return that time of about 20 yards on a short kick after the safety. And the Bear offense, after an 11-play drive scored moments ago, has really good field position in the Falcons' territory now at the 45. Well,
the Bears, you know, offensively came back out in that last drive and did what kind of we expected them to do. They haven't had a real chance to get some continuity going. We're still 3 minutes left in the first quarter, and they've already put up 23 points with the defense and the special teams allowing for 2 of those scores.
First down and 10, 45-yard line, man in motion. Play action. Willingham looking deep downfield. Goes downfield for Young, and it is knocked away. Looked like Young tried to reach his hand in there. The defensive back had a chance for the interception, and it was knocked away that time. So incomplete pass will bring up a 2nd and 10, but the Bears were going for a deep pass on that first down pass.
Well, he thought he might catch him off guard there. A good play call by Coach Cronick, but, boy, those defensive backs have not gone to sleep back there. Every ball that's thrown so far has been contested by a defensive player.
Booker T. Peak the 4th was the defensive back. Here's a handoff up the middle. Again for the Bears, the Rockmont, Georgia freshman Marcus Smith gets the handoff, and he'll pick up 5.
Smith has got he's got that same kind of a demeanor that our other little wing-back type players have. Jaquay Mitchell being the one that we've seen the most of, but he really has that little knack for running inside, and if he can, as Lanny said, be a blocker, he's going to be in there a lot this year during the course of the season.
And that's the toughest thing to learn as from high school to college is learning how to pick up those blocking assignments.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you run an offense where you didn't block at all.
And you were the feature back. Here's a sweep right side, first down, Mitchell, 35. Tries to spin out of a tackle down to the 30, but not before a 10-yard pickup by the junior Jaquay Mitchell. Actually, he's a senior out of Bailey, North Carolina. First down Bears on a sweep. They're getting around the edges both sides here tonight in the first quarter. 2:40 to go in the first quarter of play. Bears on top here, 23-7. There's a handoff up the middle.
Got a penalty. The player, I don't think that player got off the field in time. They were trying to make a defensive substitution, but you know, that's one thing I don't know. You know, maybe, I don't know, I guess because it's judgment, but a guy's about one step from the sideline when the ball snapped, and he's not going to be involved in the play. I mean,
and he's not trying to trick anybody. He's trying to run off the field.
I realize, though, that coaches would be smart enough to figure out some way to make that work in their behalf, you know, if they don't call it a penalty. So I understand why they don't do it. But that's one of those things you feel like they just ought to be able to do it. Now, that may not be the penalty. We're going to see right now. They're pointing to a lot of things up here, and we can't hear the official anyway. See if his mic's working this time.
It's against the defense, Lanny.
And, here's the thing. I'm with you, Jack. I hate to see penalties called that have absolutely no effect on the play.
Exactly. Yep.
Lanny Ford, our Carolina West Wireless sideline reporter, chiming in at perfectly. First down Bears at the 25-yard line. 1st and 5. Willingham out of the gun. Play action. Steps. Looks downfield. Man wide open. Young caught. Touchdown. Derek Young was the man in motion, turned up the field, nobody picked him up, and he was wide open, right in front of Lanny Ford for the touchdown.
Busted coverage right there on the defense that time, guys. And the same thing, the first pass play that was to him, he outran the coverage, but the pass was just a little bit shy. We should have scored on that first one.
5 plays and 45 yards. Second touchdown of the first quarter of play for Grayson Willingham, who broke the school record last year, Jack, with 26 touchdown passes, and he's off to a good start tonight.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, he hadn't been under a lot of pressure either. That's a good thing.
Elbaugh with the extra point, and it's up and good. 2:14 to go here in the first quarter. It's Lenoir-Rhyne 30 and St. Augustine 7. This is Bears football being powered by Carolina West Wireless on the Lenoir-Rhyne Football Network.
Back to doing everything I love. I needed a doctor, and I found the expert for my heart.
Beams will individualize a program to meet your specific needs. So if anybody in your family needs chiropractic care, choose the best. Choose the man the LR Bears trust, Dr. Richard Williams in Hickory. More at richardwilliamschiropractic.com.
A little over 2 minutes to go in the first quarter of the season opener for Lenoir-Rhyne, and it's the Bears on top 30-7 over the Falcons of St. Augustine. We're glad you are aboard on WSVM Radio, AM and FM, 96.5, 1490 AM, right here on the dial, part of the Bears Sports Network, and also on 99.3 WLRC, WLRX, and the Bears kick it off that time in tackling the runner around the 20-yard line. And, Jack, when you talk about Lenoir-Rhyne off to such a great start, I don't know if you had a chance to look in the program right now. There's a nice feature in there that Jeremy did. Jay-Z, Jeremy Zalaka.
Yeah.
Greatest games in Lenoir-Rhyne history.
Oh,
Take a look at it. I'll quiz you later.
You going to test me?
It's a commemorative football program, 100 years of LR football.
That's a great one. It's a great one. There's some people. Matter of fact, this young man right here on the front is from Hickory, North Carolina, Bill Grider. I saw him tonight here today, living in Nashville now.
Yeah, used to own a couple of radios.
Front of the program.
Used to work and own a couple of radio stations in the Hickory area for a while. Here's a delayed handoff to the running back, tackled by Jackson that time, coming up from a strong safety position. Eric Jackson, the junior from Charleston, South Carolina, and one of those players that got all conference really accolades late last year. Jack led the team in interceptions with 6. And all conference in the preseason, part of that secondary that is just outstanding for Lenoir-Rhyne. Third down, check that, 2nd and 9. We're at the 22-yard line. The Falcons in white and blue. Back to pass. Jones scrambling, rolling right, trying to get outside, and he doesn't. Shoestring tackle that time in the open field by Clayton Horn.
I'll tell you, Clayton Horn is really, really showing some speed. I didn't think he had that kind of speed. That young man at quarterback, Jones, has good quickness and speed, and Jalen ran him down from the side, and I'm telling you, that's pretty impressive right there for him.
6'1", 220-pound senior out of Mount Pleasant, North Carolina.
From Benny Moose, home of Benny Moose, who I saw here tonight with his lovely wife, Bonnie. Benny and Bonnie.
Lenoir-Rhyne Hall of Famer. 5 wide now for St. Augustine. It's 5 receivers, 3rd and long, 3rd and 14. Jones, the quarterback, transfer from Troy. Bears bring pressure, and down it goes again. Another sack. Lanny, talk about it down there. What you are seeing, it's looked like the pressure's coming from about all different directions.
It really is. And I said it earlier in the broadcast, they're going to have to let him get rid of the ball quickly and get some of that pressure off because he can't go back there and dance around for 3 or 4 steps. They're going to be on top of it, and they can't keep him out.
Nothing's working right now for St. Augustine, except they did get that nice touchdown pass on a one-handed catch, and they took advantage of the Bears' only turnover of the first quarter. We still have 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's 30-7.
I was just thinking, too, this could be one of those games that you start thinking about. Oh, no, he
dropped. The punter dropped the punt again, and the Bears are going to pick it up in the end zone. Touchdown!
Is that number 5? Who is that?
For Lenoir-Rhyne?
Yes, number 5.
Amarian Brown, a junior out of Warner Robins, Georgia. One of the defensive backs. Transfer. And he picks up the fumble. The punter dropped his second punt in the first quarter. The first time he was tackled for safety. That time he muffed it and couldn't recover. And Brown returned it and picked it up in the end zone for the touchdown. 36-7 as the last play of the first quarter. What a bizarre 4 turnovers here in the first quarter for St. Augustine.
37 points in the first quarter. I don't know if that's a record, but it's a heck of an average.
Sure is.
I'm going to tell you something, guys. If somebody needs to tell him, if you fumble in the end zone,
kick it out.
You kick it out or you fall on it because it only costs you 2, not 6.
Good thinking, Lanny. I was just thinking the same thing. Why in the world when he looked like he had his hands on the ball, just kick it out of the end zone, give up 2.
But what was he going to do with it after he got it?
Yeah, I know. He wasn't going to run with it.
Earlier today, West Georgia defeated Catawba in the season opener 37-9. Virginia Wise, new team in the SAC this year, they knocked off Chowan 40-22.
You know, that's a pretty good win, too, because Chowan has played some pretty good football over the last couple of years. That's an impressive win to me that they would score that many points on Chowan.
Here's the extra point. Albaugh's kick is up and good. Time is out in the first quarter. We'll take a first quarter break, and with your score, LR 37 and St. Augustine 7. This is Bears football, powered by Carolina West Wireless on the Bears Sports Network.
Center Street East.
Paramount Kia in Hickory. We want to see you driving a new Kia or, hey, a quality pre-owned Kia. We've got a huge selection of new and pre-owned Kias. You got to get to Paramount Kia in Hickory, Highway 70, ParamountKia.com.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
7-7. We're going to get the first half stats and more on tonight's game. It's a red-out game, and just about everybody's wearing red tonight. Both sides are full. Lanny, as you look around down on the sidelines and look at the people that are walking around in the new stands, people standing up in the aisles, I would say a nice crowd of 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people. Would you say?
Absolutely. Home side is full. I mean, there's standing room only. Home side, they're lined up across the back of the bleachers. And if you can look down at the gym end, the closed end, it's full too. So a great crowd on hand for opening night.
There's a nice kickoff by Norwood. He kicks it out of the end zone. And a flag. He actually angled it out of bounds. So Norwood's kick, penalty against Lenoir-Rhyne. It's about the only mistakes they've had tonight, Jack. It's been on the special teams.
Well, and, it's just been a couple of little blunders there. But and the defense just maybe got a little complacent there on a couple of plays early on. But, you start thinking, I was going to mention this right before the ball was snapped back there in the end zone, but, you got to start thinking now, Coach Cronick, I know it's not entered his mind yet. It's not even, just starting the second quarter, but, how long is he going to play a lot of these starters? You know, and it's a shame that you don't be able to play them more, because this is a game they can, you know, I don't say pad their statistics, but they can get a few more statistics to help build up their resume for the end of the year.
Bears are pretty deep, and here's a screen pass, and it is caught and wrestled down. The late flag over there on the quarterback may have come against Lenoir-Rhyne, but the Bears landed Scott with the tackle that time on the delayed screen to the wide receiver at about the 40-yard line. So we'll see what the flag is.
Bears going to be on number 27.
Jay Wiley.
It's going to be a roughing, but you know what? It was just a big hit. I didn't see anything that was dirty or late about it, because he met him as he released the football. I don't know how much closer you can get.
You know what I think caused it, though, Lanny? If you saw it, his helmet came off. The quarterback's helmet came off, and I think that's what caused the flag.
I guess, but that's I thought it was a good play.
So the penalty goes against the Bears. That'll put it into LR territory now at the 47. St. Augustine. Quarterback is Jalen Jones, transfer from Troy. A team that is led by the running back Jeremiah Miller, leading rusher on the team. They go with 4 receivers, 1 running back. Back to pass, Jones. Takes the snap. He's going to loft it down the field in double coverage. Duggar with the interception, his second of the ball game. Playing center field at the 20, 25-30, 35-40. Got one man to beat, including a tackle down the sidelines and pushed out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Kyle Duggar, hold your breath. He has the extra gear. He fielded it past that he was double covered down there, and he fielded it at about the 5-yard line and took it about 60 yards, Lanny.
That was amazing right there. And Kyle Duggar, he was just sitting back there in center field. You're exactly right. He watched the ball the whole time. He had already decided that was his before it ever got there.
I thought he was going to cut back. If he over here about the 40-yard line, had he cut back toward our boundary over here, he would have run it in for a touchdown, but he stayed on. He might have been out of gas. He said, I've run far enough, and just took it on down the boundary line.
I'll be honest with you. I think the hard problem now is keeping these guys interested in the game. I hate to say it, but it is.
Yeah, and I think that'll be fine until you start putting some second-teamers and third-teamers in there, boy. Then they'll get pumped up.
That's right.
There's a handoff at the 27-yard line. Running with the ball is, it looked like King Cruz that time, who had a really good year last year.
21? I'll tell you what, I can absolutely not see these numbers.
It's 33.
Is it on the wing right here on this side?
Yeah, 33, King Cruz.
Yep, you're right.
And he'll take the pass. That is Ryan Carter. And he gets the football and is pushed out of bounds at the 12-yard line, first down. So Ryan Carter picking up the reception, the sophomore out of Ringgold, Georgia. Just out of the backfield, just a nice little dump-off pass from Willingham to Carter, and a first down for the Bears at the 12. Quickly up to the line. Ball set, man in motion. That's Cruz. He tries to cut the corner, stiff arm, and is tackled on the shoestrings at the 12-yard line. Late flag coming.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if he doesn't make that tackle, he's going to waltz into the end zone, but this may be coming back. It may be on the Bears. It's in a spot on the field where you just feel like it's an offensive penalty of some type.
Awfully late, though.
So we'll see what the flag is. A couple of other scores. Division II football in and around the South Atlantic Conference this weekend. Wingate opened its season Thursday, beating J.C. Smith 42-6. Carson Newman 20, West Florida 13. Delta State knocked off Tusculum 24-7. I thought it was a surprise. North Greenville, Jeff Farrington's ball club, knocking off Newberry 17-7 on Thursday. Earlier today, VMI beat Mars Hill. Virginia Wise over Chowan, and West Georgia beat Catawba. So 3-3 for the South Atlantic Conference this first week of the season, Jack.
Yeah, and there's been some good games when you play some of those Gulf South teams, as some of them did. And Tusculum, do we have Tusculum up there?
Yeah, Delta State beat them.
Delta State beat Tusculum, and Tusculum's much improved. So, the penalty's on the Bears, so they're going to bring the ball back, and they start the he started the clock. Bears got to get off the sideline, or he's got to call timeout.
Fourth penalty by the Bears here in this ball game, leading 37-7, and it's 13 minutes. We're only 2 minutes into the second quarter. 37-7 favor the Bears. Good. Willingham calling for the snap, takes it out of the gun. He'll throw it downfield, intended over there. One-handed try by Young, falls incomplete.
Well, that was a good defensive play. I don't know if you saw it, the defensive back. he just kind of nudged him. The guy, he was waiting on the guy was waiting, or Willingham was waiting on his receiver run by him, and the defensive back just nudged him just a little bit, and he couldn't get by him, so it falls as an incomplete pass. But that's a heck of a play by the defensive back, and he didn't get called for it. He could have, but it was so far back in the play, it was not anything that really the official thought that might influence the outcome.
Sophomore T. Davis was the man in coverage. Bears had to try to hand it off in the backfield, and stopped is Young, and he's tackled immediately in the backfield. Nice play by St. Augustine. That's Isaiah Sampson, a junior defensive lineman out of Birmingham, Alabama. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and long. 3rd and long. Bears got to get all the way to the 3-yard line, and they're at the 30 right now. So it's 3rd and 27.
They had a great opportunity down there, and the penalty set them back, and then going for the touchdown, without getting it, that's a wasted down, and then you go wide and don't make anything, so you find yourself in this situation. Just a bad series of plays for the Bears.
Willingham takes the snap. He'll throw it downfield, side the 1st down. Mitchell's pushed out at the 20, so that'll bring up first time we see a field goal perhaps in this football game. Bears have had a safety already and a couple of touchdown passes by Grayson Willingham, an interception return for a touchdown by Kyle Duggar, and they hope to add it on again here. Hey, Lenoir-Rhyne Football, some extraordinary corporate partners again this year. Blowing Rock Draft House and Brewery, Dunkin' Donuts, Turf Pro, Paramount Kia Automotive, and David E. Looper and Company, part of the Lenoir-Rhyne Sports Network this year. Here's the nice kick by Elbaugh. 37 yards is true. Splits the uprights. And 12:05 to go in the second quarter. The Bears add on. It's LR 40 and St. Augustine 7. You're listening to the Bears Sports Network on WSVM Radio.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
Here, Juju Phillips, Mike McCree, Jack Huss, my Hall of Fame partners. Along the sideline, Carolina West Wireless reporter Lanny Ford, braving the heat and the conditions down there on the sidelines and all the pomp and circumstance, and watching an outstanding game from the LR side, 47 in favor of the Bears, and we still have 12 minutes to go in the second quarter of play. So the Bears off to a great start to start 2019. Have you had a chance, Jack, to look through the program, some of the top games in Lenoir-Rhyne history?
Yeah, I saw that. That was very, very interesting. Jeremy done you talk about this section right here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jeremy did a great job coming. He actually called me about this one, the kick, and most unusual game I think I've ever been involved in my life as far as the way it ended.
Bears winning. I was on the team at that time, Steve Crittenton, kicking a 54-yard field goal, a school record, knocking off Elon back in 1980, I believe, or 1979. 79. And that was a record kick that time. And, Steve had, as I recall, he had a chance to make kind of a really chip shot field goal earlier, missed it.
The play right before that, we had the ball at the 3-yard line, called timeout for him to kick the winning field goal, and he shanked it. He was a straight-ahead kicker, so he kicked it off the side of his foot and knocked down the pylon in the back right corner of the end zone. It shows on the video, it hit the pylon over there. That's how bad he missed it. But he made up for it, and I'll have to hand Claude Brewer, our assistant coach, I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to kick a field goal. I was going to say throw it in the end zone, try to get a Hail Mary, and Coach Brewer said, let Cretton kick it. And I thought, dang, how can he kick it now? He couldn't kick it from 10 yards. I was going to kick it from 54, but Coach Brewer said, let him go, and I thought, okay, why not? And he did. Donnie Kirkpatrick was the holder. Offensive coordinator for Mike Houston was the holder.
Absolutely, and Lanny Ford knows Donnie Kirkpatrick. You played high school football, a couple All-Star games, Lanny, with him?
Sure did. Played East-West game with him, and Donnie was, when I played against Donnie, it was Granite Falls, not South Caldwell. That's how old I am.
Well, yeah, but Lanny, they consolidated his senior year.
Yep. That's when we didn't play him any longer. I played him up until then.
Well, we had, they won the state championship, I think, that first year.
They did.
They had a great team, yeah, and we recruited about 5 or 6 guys off that team.
Sure did. As 2nd and 10, an incomplete pass and a fumble. Nope, incomplete pass is, I believe, Landon Scott with a big hit that time. It was number 21 on the running back coming out of the backfield, Joe Baker IV. And one final note on that game, the winning kick was set up by Jeff Lindsay. Interception, and 2 15-yard penalties by Elon to put it in the range.
And Jeff was the NAIA, which we were back then, NAIA National Defensive Player. He had 27 tackles in that game. And I think that was his first or second interception. I can't remember. But he got NAIA National Defensive Player of the Week for that game.
All right, here. Back to action. 3rd down and 10. Pass caught.
He got it.
By St. Augustine at the 37-yard line. 37-yard line, 1st down and 10, 11:49 to go in the second quarter. It's Lenoir-Rhyne 40 and St. Augustine 7. Glad you were aboard here on WSVM Radio. This is 1490 WSVM 96.5, W2R 43 DVFM Valdez, and 99.3 FM WLRZ in Hickory. Had some technical problems. Glad you're back aboard with us. Thanks, Eddie, for hooking us back up as we are back here in action. The Bears on top 40-7, and it's a first down for St. Augustine at the 37-yard line, going to the closed end of the stadium here at Moret Stadium on the season opening game in 2019 for the Bears.
And, I don't think it's a big surprise to anybody except maybe the coaching staff, the way the game's gone up to this point. But the Bears, are going to have an opportunity probably in the second half to see a lot of players and get some evaluation, some real film against some people that, they haven't seen before. So it's going to give some of these guys in the second half a big chance.
All right, so loss on the play at the 35. Going to bring up 3rd and 12 here, 3rd and 12 for the St. Augustine Falcons.
They need to make that decision a little quicker on that handoff. That could turn into a disaster the way this defense is flying around.
Yeah, let's see if they go stunt here. They went stunt last time. It was 3rd down, and they gave up a first because they couldn't get to the quarterback quick enough. Let's see if he stays. This looks more like the 4-man rush right here.
They've got an empty backfield as well.
Bears look like they're going to rush 4, 2 linebackers, 5 in the secondary.
This is when that quarterback draw.
And it did. And he got hit at the line of scrimmage.
That's when you want to run the quarterback draw. There was no linebacker in the middle of the field, no safety in the middle of the field. If he gets past the line of scrimmage, he's in a straight line. And I remember that from my geometry. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. He had a straight line to the end zone had he been able to break the line of scrimmage.
Senior out of Kinston, Jaquan Artie with a nice play, stopping the quarterback that time to bring up a punt now. And this is going to be an adventure as the punter standing back at his own 24. He's already dropped 2 of them tonight, and resulting in the Bears scoring a touchdown and one on a safety. So the Bears recovered a fumble in the end zone after a muff punt by the punter and earlier a safety. He fields it cleanly this time and kicks it straight up in the air and takes a nice bounce, and Duggar takes it at the 43.
Oh, killed his average right there.
Wow.
He should have let that one go. He killed his average.
So Kyle Duggar just fielded it on a hop at the 43 and got it up to about the 45, a 2 or 3 yard return, but that still puts LR in great field position with 9:19 to go in the second. LR leading here 40-7.
The snapper didn't look like a bad snap at all. And I didn't see anything wrong with the snap. That just looked like that was just wasn't a great kick.
The other punts that were muffed, those were pretty rough snaps. The punter had a little trouble getting those. That was a good snap on that one.
Well, that's why I was paying attention, because I wanted to see whose fault that was.
The entire field here at Moret Stadium is in shadows, and here's a handoff. Nice run that time by the freshman Marcus Smith, cutting his way back near the center field area and across the 50-yard line. So nice pickup by the freshman of about 8. 2nd and 2 into the territory of the Falcons at the 47. 2nd down and short now. Bears in that wing T offense. Grayson Willingham, 2 touchdown passes here in the first half. Looks to the sidelines. Bell is in the backfield for the Bears.
They have 2 quarterbacks and an assistant coach making signals from the sideline, and some of them mean something to receivers, some of them mean something to the backs. It just depends.
There's a handoff. Man in motion goes, I believe that was Ryan Carter close to the first down to the 45. It may be good enough for the first down. Either that's going to be 3rd and very short. First down, indeed. First down for the Bears. Thank you, Mike McCree.
Put it right on the mark. It's got to be.
8.5 to go here in the second. We've got some special guests lined up. Earlier today, the Bears dedicated their new Neil McGahee Performance Center in the Bears Club Pavilion, which is an indoor-outdoor, beautiful sports bar extravaganza-type building.
TV sets. Sports bar may not be exact right word.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It does have a nutrition bar. It's called a nutrition bar.
It's got a sports bar feel. There's a pass. Willingham tipped and incomplete. Man over there for a number of the Bears is a guy that they talked about all preseason, and that's a freshman wide receiver, Dre Lester. And Lester comes out of Washington, Georgia, and he's got great hands and nearly came up with a circus catch that time.
I wish Willingham had been, really on sharp right there. Grayson had seen Derek Young flared, and there was nobody out. He was out on the side over there to the right in front of their bench with nobody within 20 yards of him.
2nd and 10. Handoff. Mitchell on the sweep. Cutting back 35-30. Spins through a man 25-20. 15-10. Nobody's going to catch him. Waving by. Touchdown. Mitchell. 45 cotton picking yards. He gets into the land of milk and honey. And 7:59 to go in the second quarter. The Bears tack on another. And on Neil McGahee Performance Center night, Bears have 46 points.
How about that?
Guys, I'm going to tell you what made that happen. There wasn't no red shirt standing back there at the line of scrimmage. They were all down here in front of it.
The blocking, exactly.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things, Lanny, that this team does now in last year that, you just don't see anybody but good teams doing this. Their guys are always hustling. Even the offensive linemen, they're always hustling. Defensively, they're always hustling. They're always trying to be around the football, because if you get enough people around the football, good things are going to happen to you.
Extra point is up and good. 47-7 in favor of Lenoir-Rhyne here in the second quarter of play. We are glad you are aboard. 96.5 FM WSVM, part of the Bears Sports Network. Back with more. Stay with us. Juju Phillips, Jack Huss, Mike McCree, Lanny Ford. Glad you are aboard. Back right after this on the Bears Sports Network. Center. Juju Phillips, Jack Huss, Mike McCree, and Lanny Ford. We are the season opener for Lenoir-Rhyne. The Bears on top by the score of 47-7 with 7:59 to go here in the second quarter of play.
We talked about expectations, Juju, and, expectations usually are what other people put on you. Most people don't put those on themselves. Expectations come from the outside. But what matters, and I think what matters to this team and the coaching staff and what we saw last year, is they believe. They don't worry about expectations. They believe in themselves and what they can do and what the players have bought into this system of offense and defense that these coaches have brought to them.
All right, so here's the quarterback, Jones, scrambling with the football, tackled by Sherrod Williams at the 32. So with 7:49 to go, and we've had some technical problems, as we always do. The Gremlins came aboard here at Moret Stadium, in and out of the broadcast. If you're still listening, thank you for joining us. WSVM got it all cleared up. We're ready to go here. 47-7 in favor of Lenoir-Rhyne. While you were away, the Bears have scored a couple of touchdowns. Just got a nice run by Jaquay Mitchell, and they have all different kind of weapons. And we've seen, Jack, coming into this game, that there was going to be kind of a running back by committee. It's worked tonight.
And that's what we did last year.
Yeah.
We didn't, 2 years ago it was all Nelson Brown, and last year it was spread across a broad front, and it's going to be that way this year.
As the quarterback just fires it into the cheap seats off the sideline, so it's going to bring up an incomplete pass. With 7:08 to go before halftime, we got some special guests coming up at halftime. Is the son and daughter of Neil McGahee, Ashley Fox and Roderick McGee, going to join us to talk about the Neil McGahee Athletic Performance Center and also the Bears Club Pavilion, which is just a great facility.
Yeah, I was in there tonight, boy, and that place was absolutely slam-packed. What a great crowd. That's a clip. There you go. He got it. No, that was a clip down here. Yeah. They clipped Clayton Horn. Clayton Horn was just about to get to the quarterback when he was running, and somebody came from the backside and clipped him.
Okay, so 32-yard line. It's third down and about 3rd and 3.
Well, he made the first down. He caught the ball. You see where the guy's standing. He threw the ball and cut it. But
he did. 37.
They're trying to figure out where the line of scrimmage is, I think, for the penalty. Now, if there was another penalty outside over there, I don't see a flag. But there's one in here. See?
Yeah.
There's two flags. But the one I saw out there was definitely that Clayton Horn got clipped.
Guys, we're going to have a lot to talk about this week on Bears Talk Live, the coaches show from Blowing Rock Brewery and Ale House. Last week we went to Facebook Live. It's going to be a block in the back against St. Augustine. We had a chance to go on Facebook Live for the first time and had over 1,000 views. Two penalties.
Two penalties, both against St. Augustine.
So they're going to move it way back.
Well, it was the first penalty happened back here. If they penalize it from the spot, and then you got to go half. But both of them would be half the distance.
Okay. So we'll see where
they go from the line. I don't know where they're going to penalize it from.
They're going to put it at the 11.
Yeah, they probably said, hey, let's put it back here at the 11 and get this game going. And it's still 6:58 to go in the second quarter.
Tuesdays at Blowing Rock Brewery, talking Lenoir-Rhyne athletics, football. Last week we talked a little women's soccer. They won their season opener. We're playing again today. And we talked about all the Bears' changes in the athletic department with new Vice President Kim Pate, Vice President of Athletics. And again, every Tuesday, 7 o'clock, if you can't join us at Blowing Rock Brewery, then you can join us online, Facebook Live, Lenoir-Rhyne Bears University there. And either way, hope you can join us for Bears Talk Live. Lanny Ford has joined us a couple of times. Lanny, you would give a big thumbs up to the pizza.
Absolutely. Not only is it a great place to go to learn about Lenoir-Rhyne, but if you're into food, it's a great place for that too.
Hey, let me tell you, I watched the replay. I was not home on Tuesday night. I watched the replay.
Fourth down. So the Bears are going to decline the penalty.
Okay,
one penalty.
One was a dead ball. I saw it on the replay here. But, the Facebook presentation is tremendous. It's really clear. The sound was great. Last year it was always hard to hear sometimes and whatnot. But, boy, I watched it on Facebook on Thursday, and actually it was wonderful. So if you want to really tune in and learn about Bear athletics and keep up with it, tune in and watch it on the Facebook.
Absolutely. Allie Luffman and some great job behind the scenes putting that all together. Got a little bit of a new format this year and new set, outdoors. Great venue to do it at Blowing Rock Brewery. And
in December, you might want to think about moving in.
We will move it in for basketball season. That's for sure. We're going to add some other little special things as well as the season goes out. Yeah. There's a nice punt end-over-end kick by the punter. This time, he kicked it straight up in the air earlier, and that time it went about 15 yards and rolled out of bounds.
It's going to be about the Yep, 34-yard line. It was 1 yard short of a first down.
I was getting ready to say he didn't get a first down out of that play.
Everything's gone wrong for St. Augustine
Well,
tonight.
and you know, I don't blame. They're trying not to kick the ball to Duggar. They whether they have seen it before or know about it somehow or another, it's in their scouting report. We're not going to kick the ball down there to him.
So, again, the Bears are going to substitute freely. They still got some of their first-team offensive linemen out there, including All-American Jason Poe at right guard. Grayson Willingham, the starting quarterback, is out there as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't look for any changes until and maybe they'll play one series in the second half.
Back to pass, Willingham, play action. Downfield, man open, Hampton caught, touchdown. Demarius Hampton on the post. Beat his man to the goal line on a touchdown. Third touchdown pass for Willingham the first half. And the Bears are over 50. One play, 39 yards, and Grayson Willingham, who had 26 touchdowns last year, has 3 here tonight in the first half. And the Bears are 53 points. You know, one of the great stories in the program, Jack, is the highest scoring game in LR history. We're halfway to 100
Oh,
now.
yeah. Well,
and 92.
Remember we had a game
2015.
Coach Shields was
Yeah,
here.
2015.
Yeah, we got 90-something.
92.
Yep. And it didn't count, though.
No, it did not. They kept score 92-0 in that game. This game, with 6:39 to go before the half, it's 54 LR and St. Augustine 7. Back with more Bears football being powered by Carolina West Wireless on the Lenoir-Rhyne Sports Network.
Bears with a 98.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Jack, look, we haven't even looked at the stats. I'm sure they're way in favor of Lenoir-Rhyne, but the Bears have scored defensively. They scored on the special teams. They have scored a safety tonight. They've recovered a couple of fumbles. St. Augustine's had 5 turnovers that I can count in the first half, maybe more.
Well, now the safeties don't count as turnovers.
Okay.
But they're the same thing. I agree with you. But now you think about it, what are things that are really hard to do? Think about some things that are really hard to do, like you ever tried to fold a fitted sheet? Try to fold a fitted sheet. That's really hard. Well, that's what they're experiencing right now in St. Augustine. They're trying to fold a fitted sheet out there, and it's just not working. And the Bears, are not, I wouldn't say they're 100% on their game, but they're just kind of at will right now. Run wide, run inside, throw the ball deep, throw the ball short. Defensively, they're dominating up front. And I thought that might be where they would have their biggest problem with only 7 offensive linemen I saw during warm-up.
You're a better man than I to say fitted sheet. I would have said it around differently a little bit. I'd have got tongue-tied. Let's just put it that way.
No, a fitted sheet.
Okay.
Now, you try to fold one sometime. You just can't fold them. They just won't work.
It was the enunciating, not the folding, that would have gotten
okay.
me.
That didn't bother you. Okay.
No.
Well, I practiced that.
I'm sure you did.
I've been waiting 2 years to use that one, and tonight's the first time I thought I could use it.
Check it off there.
You need to Google that, Jack, and there's a video on the internet that'll show you how to fold that fitted sheet.
Hey, I saw one. Hey, I've still got one, Lanny, that I keep. Shows you how to fold a shirt in 2 moves. If you can fold that shirt, you got to put it by a certain way and pick it up. And I watch that video every once in a while. I'm always amazed. I can't do it, but I'm amazed watching somebody else do it.
You're exactly right.
3rd down and 5 while we were away, 29-yard line, St. Augustine.
And they look to the sideline. The quarterback does. Jalen Jones, a senior out of Troy, transfer.
And they really, really need to get this first down.
Back to pass. Jones under pressure, dumps it off to Williams, the running back. Tries to scamper for the first down and knock down shy of the first down. About 5 guys around the football, including Amari Houston, the front line for the Bear defense. Is there a penalty flag?
Yeah, the Bears hitting
the
late.
Quarterback.
They're not getting there in time, so they're going late. That's just frustration when you can't get there. And there's no reason to be frustrated. They're not going to make the first down, but you give them 15 yards and they make it. And that'll give the defensive coach. Coach Taylor will be sorely upset with that because we had them stopped.
He won't when he watches the video.
Jimmy, Dan Luba is going to come out and have a little talking by Coach Cronick, and they'll send in Khalil Yelding. Yelding, he and his brother, Lanny, they got 2 brothers on the team. One's 315 pounds, and the other is 295 pounds, both out of Daphne, Alabama, defensive linemen. The Yelding brothers for the Bears. There's an offside against a procedure call. We'll go against St. Augustine at the 46. They'll back it up 5 here. 4:52 to go in the second. Bears on top 54-7. Bears haven't won a season opener since 2015. You want to take a quick guess where that game occurred?
The
three of us were in a car together.
Oh, on the way to Carson Newman?
No. Season opener.
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Westchester.
Yeah.
Had a chance to, and they knocked off Westchester that time. They were a top 20 team, and the Bears were coming off that fantastic season in 2014 where they went undefeated in the regular season. Bears won. That's the last time they won a season opener. 2016 and 2017, they lost their season openers, and last 2 years they were playing West Alabama, and this year back home between the bricks trying to win for the first time, and they're in pretty good shape. Timeout on the field with 4:25 to go in the second. It's LR 54 and St. Augustine 7. Back with more on the Bears Sports Network right after this.
Quality work that's on time.
Oh, this? I was playing catch a little too hard with the dog. He's got quite an arm. I've been through this before. It'll be better in a couple of days. Probably.
Visit one of Ortho Carolina's specialists right away by logging on to orthocarolina.com. Leave the waiting to this guy.
Come on, honey.
Ortho Carolina. You improved.
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
The Bears have had a really, really good ball game from a lot of different aspects, but a little sloppy in spots, but it is the opening game of the season, no doubt. And one time right before the timeout, the official came over and he talked to Coach Cronick about what was getting those penalties. He said they are pushing the guy down. See there, right there when they push him.
And the quarterback fires it out of bounds, pushed by Jaquan Artis out of bounds. Lanny, you're kind of down there, and I think you heard some of that conversation, didn't you?
Yeah, the only thing I'll say, and I'll try to be nice here, if it was 10-7 instead of 54-7, they're not getting that call.
I agree.
Good call.
I agree 100%.
It's still a game of contact.
Well, listen, I've officiated basketball a long time, and when you get a team routing another team, you don't let the team that's winning that big, don't let them get away with anything because it leads to problems down the line, coming, from the team that's getting beat. They're going to retaliate at some point somehow if they just get pushed around too much.
2nd and 15, back to pass. Jones, he'll fired it over to in front of the bench. Pass is complete. Near midfield, pickup of 6 on the play. He'll bring up 3rd and about 7. 3rd and 7 as Robinson hauled in the pass from Jones, who was throwing from his back foot. But the Bears have had a couple of sacks tonight. They've had an interception that was returned for a touchdown, but they have had pressure just about every time that the quarterback Jones has gone back to throw the football tonight.
Yeah, and
this time he's going to do it again out of the gun. 4 receivers.
And the Bears no longer are stunning. They might run an internal stunt.
Across the middle pass is complete for the first down to the 35. Center of the field. Hauling in the pass, it sure was Anthony Berry Jr.
wide receiver out of Kinston, North Carolina. He got between a couple of Bears in behind the linebacker and in front of the safety and picked up the first down at the 35. That may have been the second best play of this first half for St. Augustine.
Jalen Jones is an impressive quarterback. I mean, you could put him on a team. A lot of the teams that will play this year, we probably may not see better quarterbacking than he's capable of. You can see that. He threw that ball with the man right in his face on a real line down there for a great completion.
Steps back to pass again, and he's going to tuck and run. Head down, and he runs into about 3 LR players, including Preston Joseph. And Joseph is an interesting character as well for the Bears. He played strong safety for a number of years, Jack, the junior out of Brunswick, Georgia, but they moved him into the inside linebacker spot at 6 foot 210. He had a nice offseason. They moved him in the spring and has had a fine training camp. So there's a kid we're going to be watching this year, Preston Joseph, expected to have a fine year as a backup defender for the Bears.
Yeah, and we'll see a lot of these guys in the second half. I wouldn't expect to see. I think we could possibly see the starters for a series or two. For one reason, because it's the opening game. And Coach Cronick has said over and over the last week and even tonight a couple times when I've heard him speak, we're tired of hitting each other. Yeah. We're ready to hit somebody on the other team. And that gives them the opportunity to do that tonight when they get in there and get to mix it up with St. Augustine. But, the Bears, I mean, this is it's better than a scrimmage because of the fans in the stands and everything. But, from the standpoint of actually learning a lot, I'm not sure there'll be a lot there to learn. But you'll look at individual, as a coach, you'll look at individual play, individual technique, and you'll point out the things that have to be done and the way we have to get better at it. And that's how you'll approach this game probably from a coach's standpoint.
Indeed, and I was looking, ball boy is Eli Cronick, coach's son, 8th grader. Northview Middle School in Hickory, plays center, Jack. He's not a quarterback like his dad was growing up, but Eli is second eldest son, and he is a center. 8th grader on the football team at Northview. Flag down. 3rd down. Pass is caught. 25-20, 15. Tries to wiggle his way inside the 15 down to about the 10-yard line. Flag down. We'll check on that play. It was near the line of scrimmage.
It came early, too. I mean, that flag came real quick after the snap. It wasn't long, so if it's holding, they grabbed somebody. That could be hands to the face on the Bears, too. That's a penalty that you see more called on defense. Is when they put their hands out to kind of shuck the blocker and put their hands in their face mask.
They're talking to St. Augustine right now. The Bears have backed up inside the 20, so it's going to go, looks like, against LR. And it was a nice pass, and it was hauled in that time by Anthony Berry, a junior out of Kinston, who's had a couple of receptions on this particular drive. Lanny, you want to clarify a couple of things? What have you learned down there on the sideline?
Okay. I was trying to figure out what it was. And did you know we've got a new quarterback in? Number one, I thought he would just be out of play because he got his helmet knocked off. You got to come off for a play, but they're staying with number 4.
Yeah, he's coming. He's back in now.
Okay.
I don't know what it was either. Unlike you, I didn't realize that was a different quarterback. Yeah, he did, but he stayed out 2 plays.
He stayed out 2 plays, yeah.
That's what Lanny just said. He was out 2 plays instead of 1.
And 4 threw a pretty good ball.
Yes, he did. And I'll tell you what, they don't want to. The Bears don't want to mess around here. Not that the game's in contention or anything, but that defense doesn't want to mess around and give up points right here.
They're going to throw deep down the field this time. Bears have good coverage knocked away, nearly intercepted.
Wow, what coverage.
Yes, indeed. Right in front of you, Lanny. Down in the end zone, in the closed end of the end zone where the Bear tunnel is expected to be put in sometime next year. Good coverage that time by, I believe, Javaris Smith, number 29.
Yep, he was right here.
Yeah, it was.
And I'll tell you what, it almost looked like what he tried to do there. I don't know, Lanny, you had a good angle. It looked like he almost tried to tip that ball over toward Kyle Duggar.
He was, I'm not so sure. I think that number 4 actually did the tip because he out-jumped him a little bit.
He was trying to play defense.
He's got him out high, 6 to 8 inches.
Yeah.
Great coverage by the sophomore out of Savannah, Javaris Smith. 6 interceptions last year, second on the team. Here's a pass, comebacker caught. Close to the first down, over on the far side at the 26. Going to be shy of about a yard. That's going to bring up 4th and 1 now for the Falcons. 2:18 to go before half. 54-7 in favor of the Bears. Red out here tonight. A lot of red here at Moret Stadium. Celebrating its 30 years. Opened 30 years ago on this very night against Wofford College. The Bears nearly upset Wofford that night. There's a 4th and short. And a first down run by the quarterback, Jones, with the sneak down to the 24-yard line.
For many years prior to Wofford going up to, raising their level up to in the divisions in NAIA into NCAA, Lenoir-Rhyne Wofford was the first game of the year. I mean, way back. That was the first game of the season. They're non-conference. Wofford, for whatever reasons, never chose to join any of the Carolinas Conference. Newberry was always a member. Presbyterian was always a member, and Wofford, was not. And they're all right there, together. But they chose to stay independent for whatever reason. And it was the opening game traditionally forever. So when you said it was the first game, and that was in 1964, our good friend Tom Brown, and wish him the best at home and his wife. Hope she's able to make some improvement. But, Tom Brown was a star in that 1964 season. Yeah. It was a little bit of a comeback season, and the guy I saw today that I played golf with, Henry Graham. Henry Graham was a junior center on that team, and there were some good players, a lot of good players. Eddie Joyner was here then, Wayne Bell was here then. There was some, Mike Campbell was here then. There were some really good players coming along at that time that were here and came back in 65, and 4 straight conference championships later.
College Field was celebrating its 55 years. And the building here where we're in, the press box, President's Box, that was renamed Moret Stadium, opened in 1989 on this very day. So back to passes. Jones, he's going to fumble the football, or is it a sack? He held on to the ball and is sacked by Artis and about the entire Bear front line, but the Bears get about their half dozen sacks here in the first half of action. Jaquan Artie has had a fine year last year, and I don't know how he got overlooked for an all-conference or any postseason awards, but he was, and he wasn't on any preseason awards, but he is a solid player.
Wasn't he like player of the week for defense in the conference like 2 or 3 times, and he didn't make all-conference?
Well, yeah, he and Sherrod Williams dominated.
Sherrod Williams, yeah.
But they overlooked Artie. I think the Bears are going to have, and he was second on the team in sacks. Well, he was top 10 in the country in sacks.
Well, you sort of understand why the Bears offensively, because they spread everything around. Nobody gets all that many catches. Nobody gets all that many carries.
And he's going to get another sack.
Willingham doesn't get all that many throws and doesn't get the big yardage all the time. There's a lot of quarterbacks and backs that get more, but our offensive line almost always gets recognition. And then it's our defense, because that's just the way all conference works. If a quarterback's got big stats, he's got a better chance to make all conference.
And our conference, our quarterback did not get named all conference.
Right. And our backs, like I said, when the leading ball carrier may have 15 carries a game, and at other places they run the one back system in the spread, and he'll get 25 carries.
The only all conference back that we had this year is no longer on the team, so. There's going to be all kinds. There's a sack that last play. Richburg Canty, a junior out of Sumter, South Carolina, with the Bears' 6th sack of the first half, and 10 seconds to go before the half, and a timeout. We'll keep it right here before we take a break. Lanny, as you look at the first half of action, and from your side of it, from a fan, first time that maybe you've seen Lenoir-Rhyne, and obviously coming back for all the festivities here in the pregame and in the first half of action, I guess you got to be pleased if you're an LR fan here tonight.
Well, I think you do, and I think Coach Cronick was very accurate when he said it's going to make a world of difference when you talk about recruiting. You've got a first-class academic university, and now you're really upgrading your athletic facilities, and it's not just for football, but they're upgrading it for all the sports here, and that goes a long way.
50 recruits are watching here tonight in witnessing the Bears' action here in the 2019 season opener. They've seen a heck of a first half by LR. Your score as we break for halftime. It's the Bears 54 and St. Augustine 7. Stay with us. Back with more. Juju Phillips with Jack Huss, along with Mike McCree, Lanny Ford.
Paramount Kia in Hickory. We want to see you driving a new Kia or, hey, a quality pre-owned Kia. We've got a huge selection of new and pre-owned Kias. You got to get to Paramount Kia in Hickory, Highway 70, ParamountKia.com.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Associated with it paid attention to detail. Like there's so much Lenoir-Rhyne signage in there, whether it's on the weights or the benches or the floor or even, the bars where you put the weights on. And I was just overwhelmed of thinking how much Neil would have appreciated the attention to detail. And it's such a beautiful, wonderful facility. I know Rod and I were both sad that he's not here to see it, of course, but it's amazing. And the fact that, the money was raised so quickly, the building went up so quickly. I think Kim Pate did a wonderful job. Everyone who was associated with raising the funds, it was really an overwhelming experience to see it. And then to see his name on the outside, he would love it.
Rod, as you talk, put into words for you and what it has meant to you to see what they did with the building and everybody that showed up today. I mean, it was just a wonderful experience.
Well, Dad just loved LR. He loved the Hickory community. It was just that this place was, Dad was good for this place, but this place was good to Dad. And I think he loved the coaches, particularly he loved the athletes. And for there to be a facility that the coaches and athletes can use long after he's gone, I just think, I don't think it could be better. And, he would have said it was the P word. He would have said it was perfect.
Yeah.
And he would have given a big hoo-ah because, it really is an elite facility, and it just continues to help take LR to the next level, and that's all Dad ever wanted. And to see that tradition continue is just amazing.
Your dad, and it's been talked about a little bit, but he had a heck of a second act. He coached for a long time, got into tennis, and he was into, fundraising and did his Sugar Creek Enterprises thing for a long time. But when he came to Lenoir-Rhyne, it was like he got a second wind.
Over there with him, listening to a little radio with you guys calling these football games. And it was really important to him, even in, the state that he was in, to follow what was going on with the Bears football team. So you guys brought him a lot of joy at a time that was really tough for him, too. So we thank you guys for that.
What did he enjoy most? Did he enjoy football or basketball? He played both here at the college. What did he enjoy the most? He coached basketball, what?
I think hoops was his true love. I really do, and he liked the science behind it. He loved football, he loved tennis, but I think at the end of the day, I think basketball was his first love, and and again, being a player, a coach, an administrator, helping young people develop. That's what he really loved.
And I think he liked coaching. I mean, we got to watch. I covered the Super Bowl for 15 years in a row up until 2 years ago when the Eagles and the Patriots were in it, and it was the first time that Dad, Rod, and I got to watch the Super Bowl together for the first time since we were like children. And I'm from live in Philadelphia now, and I'm connected with the Eagles. And he said, "No, I'm pulling for the Patriots. You pull for whoever you want to. I'm pulling for Belichick because that man can coach." And I think, I never knew that about him, that he was like this closet Patriots fan. And I think he just appreciated the genius of coaching, and this, as Rod said, the science of it, the X's and O's, successful execution of sports, and I think that crossed all sports.
I don't know where your dad got this tape, but back during the 2013 season, the night before the championship game at North Alabama, he brought Mike and Jack and I into his hotel room, and he had it was kind of a seance. The lights were down very low, and he brought up Alabama, the legend, the head football coach for Alabama, Bear Bryant. He had a tape. It was on a CD. It lasted about 30 minutes, him talking to some group or company, and he got fired up about that, just listening to Bear Bryant. Again, he loved to hear other coaches talk about coaching.
Right. Well, and I have a copy of a book that John Wooden sent him that was his Pyramid of Success, and I think Neil got him to inscribe that book for him back when he was like in his 20s. And, he was a student of sports and a student of basketball for sure, but he loved his football too.
He loved details. He loved memorabilia. I had never heard that story before, which is awesome, but it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, there's no telling where he finds that stuff, but I mean, he could find a jewel, and he could polish it up, and he could sell it.
He was very good at that, and I can remember, I saw a picture recently of your dad and some other ACC coaches back during the day, Carl Tacey and some others at the Campbell basketball camp, and they were listening to Pete Maravich and John Wooden perform. And they had a side picture. Your dad was right up front with a big smile on his face. Did not realize that the Campbell basketball camp was like the 5-star camp way back in the day. And your dad loved going to those things. He talked about it a couple of times. I remember, and a few times we've had a conversation. But he loved all of that. And so many memories of, in this short time here, really, 13, 14 years as athletic director. And it is changed a lot over the last few years. But he brought Lenoir-Rhyne into the modern era, didn't he?
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
He did.
That's very nice. And, LR's got a rich tradition, and it was just a perfect fit. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the truth. And it was a mutually good relationship for everybody. And we're just happy that Dad finished his career here and got to come home. And we continue to be so thankful for the entire LR and Hickory community and everybody who's been so loving and supportive, and continues to be of Dad. And what can we say? It's very humbling.
Yeah, everyone's been really, really great to us. Everyone at the university, Kim Pate in particular, Ed and Polly Bird, Maxie, Moretz, and to be included in a day like today, they didn't have to do that, and they've been very, very supportive of us and very thoughtful of us, and, we miss our dad very much, but it's really nice to have him honored and memorialized here for doing, some pretty important stuff.
I know it's corny, but LR is family, and we saw that again today. And we appreciate you coming up and joining us tonight and everything you've done kind of behind the scenes and being part of the Lenoir-Rhyne family as well.
We appreciate everything you guys do.
You're welcome.
For the Bears.
Thank you. Thank you,
so
Ashley.
much.
Good to see you.
You too.
Ashley Fox and Roderick McGee talking about the Neil McGahee Performance Center, dedicated earlier today on the campus at Lenoir-Rhyne. We're at halftime. Bears on top 54-7. Stay with us. More to come right after this on the Bears Sports.
Paramount Kia in Hickory. We want to see you driving a new Kia or, hey, a quality pre-owned Kia. We've got a huge selection of new and pre-owned Kias. You got to get to Paramount Kia in Hickory, Highway 70, ParamountKia.com.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
Playing catch a little too hard with the dog. He's got quite an arm. I've been through this before. It'll be better in a couple of days. Probably.
Visit one of Ortho Carolina's specialists right away by logging on to orthocarolina.com. Leave the waiting to this guy.
Come on, honey.
Ortho Carolina. You improved.
It's really a neat place down there, and a very nice campus.
Well, that was nice of Rod and Ashley come up and talk about it and their thoughts about Lenoir-Rhyne and their father to discuss all that. And even I was kind of shocked and told them a story they had never heard before. So, and that, I don't think, yeah. And you remember the night right before the game, championship game in 2013, the seance. Listening to
I wasn't sure anybody had ever heard that story before.
I don't think there were only about 4 people in the room, and I don't think we probably told too many people afterwards.
I didn't know how to explain it.
Yeah, that's why I explained the beginning of it. The part with Bear Bryant was the football-related parts of the story.
Yeah. Well, the statistics, surprisingly, are in the Bears' favor, but first downs are only 9-7. The Bears only have 114 yards rushing and 99 yards passing. Don't have a lot of total offense to show 54 points on their partner, but, that sometimes happens. In time of possession, 9:58 for the Bears. How about that? 20:02 for for St. Augustine. And if you thought if they had 20 minutes of possession, that the score would be 54-7, you would be wrong. But that's what happens when you make mistakes.
Look at Grayson Willingham's stats.
Willingham is 6 of 10 for 99 yards, 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdown passes and 6 completions. That's pretty good.
Yeah, the other kid's 7, Jalen Jones. He's 7 of 16, 2 interceptions, 72 yards, 1 TD. Been sacked 5 times.
Bears are going to get the ball to start the second half. And as we look down on the sidelines, Grayson Willingham is warming up, and so is backup quarterback Gunnar Anderson, the sophomore out of Alexander Central High School, Jack. And in talking with Drew Cronick in the preseason, he said Gunnar Anderson is the most improved football player on the team.
Well, you know,
and that's a good thing if as the backup quarterback and you've been improved that much, means you're ready and waiting in the wings.
Yeah, and the thing about him, we saw last year what he was capable of doing down at Newberry when he came in and led the Bears to a victory down there. And, you know, granted, they didn't try to do a whole lot with him, but they didn't have to because he performed so well and did exactly what he was asked to do, and that was go out there and don't screw the game up. Let your team win it for you, and that's exactly what he did. And, you know, I know they're high on another young man that they got from James Madison, another quarterback.
Hayden Mann, 6'4", redshirt freshman, number 17.
They're high on him as well. So, you know, the quarterback position looks pretty good for the Bears right now. And I think anybody past those 3, they probably, if they have a freshman quarterback, he's probably going to wind up being redshirted.
Or move to receiver, and that has been the case. Trey Luttrell, who's a all-conference and all-state player out of Georgia, he's playing wide receiver and is a backup quarterback.
But he's a freshman too,
yeah,
right?
True freshman.
He's an athlete. You know, sometimes, you know, quarterbacks are kind of like shortstops in baseball. You know, shortstop in baseball could probably play any position on the field. And quarterbacks, most of the time, if they're athletes, they could line up at a whole lot of different places. So, you know, it gives them an opportunity to give them a little flexibility. And he can, and, you know, Luttrell's probably a smart enough kid as he says, hey, if this is the way I get playing time, I'm all right with it.
Yep, indeed. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with the second half with your score, Lenoir-Rhyne 54 and St. Augustine 7. You're listening to Bear Football on the Bears Sports Network.
Quality work that's on budget.
I love being busy in my garden. I got flowers to plant and beds to clean out. When I was feeling really tired and not like myself, I saw a doctor. Look at me now. The doctors were good, they worked with me, and they laughed with me. I'm back to doing everything I love. I needed a doctor, and I found the expert for my heart.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
I love being busy in my garden.
Come see us at Paramount Automotive for all your car buying needs.
And remember, we sell tires, lots of tires.
Go Bears!
Okay, fellas, listen up. We're going to run a 10-9 slant on 2. Ready?
Man, it's hot out here. I sure could use a cheer one.
This isn't the time for that, Baker.
That perfect fizz with just the right cherry kick.
Come on, we got to focus here.
He's right. Nobody does cherry like Cheerwine.
I like mine with tiny ice. Love tiny ice. Cheerwine goes great with barbecue, too.
Listen, we win, and I'll buy you guys all the Cheerwine you can drink. Deal?
Yeah, let's do this.
Ready? Right. Try the uniquely refreshing cherry flavor of the sun.
We're back here at Moret Stadium between the bricks, the 100th season of Lenoir-Rhyne football. Juju Phillips, Jack Huss, Mike McCreen, Lanny Ford bringing you Lenoir-Rhyne football action. Bears leading here again. I'd like to thank our nice, proud sponsors of Bears football in 2019. As you heard, just Cheerwine, David E. Looper and Company, Ortho Carolina. Bear football also being brought to you by Paramount Automotive, Phi Regional Medical Center, and People's Bank. And don't forget, following tonight's game, our post-game show, our sponsor, star of the game, big thanks to Fanfare. Union Square, located in downtown Hickory, Milton Reich, coming on board to present that award
after each and every LR football game. 27 years been in the business. Downtown Hickory officially licensed everything. That's Fanfare, and the sponsor tonight of the star of the game, of which there have been many so far tonight for Lenoir-Rhyne, leading 54-7. Bears are going to receive it. They are going to receive it in the closed end here at Moret Stadium, going left to right, and the Bears standing back there. A couple of players for Lenoir-Rhyne and the numbers. They're going to switch. I think the black numbers this year have white numbers, or the black jerseys have white numbers. We'll see if it looks better, because that is tough to read right now as the Bears return it to the 20-25-yard line and then tripped up. It's not Duggar who has been back there returning kicks. And that is number 82 for Lenoir-Rhyne. That time is one of the freshmen, DeAndre Lester, the wide receiver out of Washington, Georgia. A freshman returning the kick to the 25. So the Bears will start on offense first.
New quarterback.
New quarterback indeed will be Gunnar Anderson. Thanks, Lanny. Gunnar Anderson, the sophomore out of Alexander Central High School last year, played in 7 games, Jack. Started a couple of games, went undefeated in 2-0, and threw for over 200 yards and completed 54% of his passes and threw 3 touchdowns. Pretty good job as a true freshman last year for the Cougar product.
And, when he came in, he never looked like he was, concerned about the situation he was in. He came in and just started playing like, okay, this is just another game, like, it's supposed to be.
And another Catawba Valley area players checked in at fullback, and that's Tate Beaver out of Fred T. Ford. His dad, John Beaver, played here, and Tate switched from linebacker to fullback in the spring, and now getting some action for the Bears, and took the handoff and picked up 5 to the 30, 2nd and 5 for LR, going right to left, going to the open end here at Moret Stadium. Under center, Anderson sends a man in motion. That's Mitchell. He gets the handoff and around the end 35. Bulls over a man, pushes him down to about the 39-yard line. Jaquay Mitchell picks up about 10 on the play.
The Bears use so many backs. When, a guy like Jaquay Mitchell, he's a starter, but he's in and out. He's probably coming out. They just shifted a whole new set of backs in there after that play. They do that so much that you expect him to probably play more in the second half maybe than the quarterback or the fullback.
Ball's at the 40. Again, handoff. Nice cut up the middle over the 40, 45-yard line goes Marcus Smith. That previous run, it was not Mitchell, it was Trey Luttrell. Jack, that quarterback, now turned receiver, took the handoff in his wingback position and picked up a nice gain. That previous time, another freshman, Marcus Smith, running back, gets it up to the 45. That'll bring up a 2nd and 5 now for the Bears. So LR is going with the second unit here to start the second half. Gunnar Anderson, under center, man in motion, back to pass, short drop, throws it over here, over the head of the receiver, incomplete. Pass intended for DeAndre Lester, but it was a little bit too high that time.
Yeah, the Bears trying to kick some of these numbers on the offensive line. 74's in there. He's not a starter. Dante Lowe Rogers at left tackle, 6'6", 330. He's the left tackle, so he's not a starter. So it's probably a second unit all the way down the line in there.
Transfer from Shaw University, so he's probably played against these guys before. They're in the CIAA, and he's one of the biggest guys on the team for LR. Transfer, 330 pounds. Man in motion. This is Mitchell this time. Nope, that's Luttrell. And he will go around the right side and gets close to the first down on 3rd and 5, and he may have got it. He did. Just over the 50-yard line.
Yep. All he had to do was get to the line. And, this is exactly what I would expect Coach Cronick to do. Just run the football, run the clock. The game's not in doubt. Let these guys play, see what they can do. You might see a pass here and there, a little play action. They're crowding the line. Look at them. Everybody, all 11 guys are up there within 5 yards of the line.
There's a handoff to the fullback, and he'll get about 4 on the play.
Yeah. He may have to throw something in a minute just to back him up a little bit. But, this is what he wants to do. Eat clock and let these guys play, especially his running backs. This will give him a good look at that second group of running backs. He's got some guys in there that's got some potential, and he knows before the season's over they'll probably be used.
2nd and 6 now, 12:25 to go in the third. LR leading, if you just tuned in, 54-7 on WSVM radio, and Valdez. And there's a little flip pass out on the wing, caught, first down. That time, another backup for the Bears, Damian Devine, freshman out of Fitzgerald, Georgia, gets the first down.
Dump-off pass from Anderson down to the 34. Bears have a couple of players from Fitzgerald, Georgia, including All-American offensive lineman Jason Poe.
You know, that's such a hard play to defend. They fake the fullback inside after running 2 or 3 times, and that motion back just slips out in the flat, and all Gunner has to do is fake the fullback and then just flip it out there to him, and it's really, really hard to cover that.
1st and 10 now, 35 of St. Augustine. Handoff, Luttrell cuts it up inside. He'll get it to the 33 before he is shoved back. Check that. That's Michael Brown, who was a backup quarterback for a time, and now is in at running back, a redshirt senior out of Tracy, California. Jack, he's been through 3 head coaches in his career at Lenoir-Rhyne.
Yeah, and you gotta be here for a while because Cronick's in his 2nd year, and Shields was here 2 years, and Keller was here 2 years, so he's been around. But that young man shows perseverance is what it's all about in his case.
And a good kid, according to Coach Cronick. And there's a handoff, a little bit of a muff that time, but did pick up the carry. And again,
that's Jones.
That is Marcus Smith.
Marcus Smith.
Out of Rock Martin, Georgia, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 29. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 4. Lanny, you're down on the sidelines on the LR side, looking at the Bear offense. What have you noticed out of the second unit?
I haven't seen a whole lot of difference. They're doing a very good job, very conservative play call. And Coach Cronick wanted to make sure that the officials knew that they're getting a little rough with our guys after some of those calls earlier today.
3rd and 4. Line shifts. Anderson hands it up the middle. That's Beaver. He is stiff-arming his way inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. Boy, Tate Beaver just showed that that's an old-fashioned fullback and wears number 44. Who else do we know wears 44?
I think I know somebody I played with. Michael Eugene McCree, I believe, was number 44.
He ran pretty hard that time, too, in between the hash marks and stuck it up in there to the 18-yard line and picked up the 1st down.
That was some good running, too.
Yes, it was.
That was some real good running because he hit it in there hard, but then he made one little move in there that picked him up that extra 7 or 8 yards.
And had an excellent training camp, I'm told.
Shotgun.
Anderson, play pass. Down the field, wide open. Caught. Touchdown. Is that 88, Lanny, or 84?
Yes, 88.
88 for the Bears and a touchdown for Anderson. Will Neal, sophomore out of Charlotte. 11-play drive covering 75 yards. And the Bears score on their first possession of the second half, and they're at 60 points. Bears 60 now, St. Augustine 7.
And you know that play action, I mean, you run the ball all the way down the field like he did, and then you read that play action. Now, he barely got that ball. The safety from the other side of the field, Gunner kind of floated it up there because the guy was wide open, and the safety from the other side of the field was within a half a step of getting it, but he didn't get there in time. That's all that matters.
Extra point is up and good. So the Bears last year, 9th in the country, averaging 41 a game. They're at 61 right now. We still have basically 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. It's Lenoir-Rhyne 61 and St. Augustine 7. Back with more. This is the Bears Sports Network on WSVM Radio.
Center Street East, conveniently located in Beaumont.
Everett Chevrolet Buick GMC is ready for another exciting football season. Everett has been a proud sponsor of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears for 25 years, and we wish the Bears a safe and successful season. And August means it's all systems go for another winning season with the Carolina Panthers. We have a tradition of winning in the Carolinas, and when you want to be a winner in the car, truck, or SUV game, come see the sales and service champions at Everett, because if you didn't get an Everett deal, you dropped the ball, baby. Woo!
I remember it like somebody flipped a switch and something was really wrong. The staff at Fry treated me like family and they saved my life. These days, I'm taking time for things that really matter because every moment is a gift. I needed a doctor and I found an expert in my heart.
Everett Chevrolet Buick GMC is ready for another exciting...
Phillips, Jack Huss, Mike McCree. Along Lanny Ford along the sidelines. Bears on top 61-7. Is that 4 touchdown passes tonight for Lenoir-Rhyne?
3 for Willingham and 1 for Gunner, yep.
Offense has done its part. Defense has come away with a bunch of turnovers. And the Bears are romping their way to a season-opening win tonight with
a road game at Virginia Union, another team out of the CIAA conference next week. And plenty of the reserves are seeing action tonight. Here's a nice kick. This time it's a little shy the goal line. Actually, the guy, return man, this time takes a kneel. After what he's seen tonight, he takes a kneel at the goal line, so he'll take it, and that'll put St. Augustine, the Falcons, at the 25. I think that some of the Bear coaches are saying, wait a second, he caught the ball at the 1 yard line. Right, Lanny?
That was a gimme. He backed into the end zone. He called it in the play of field. They're not going to give him that call.
I tell you what, I feel for him, too. I mean, I've been on both sides of this kind of game, and it's not any fun when you're over there on St. Augustine's side. It's not that much. I was looking for something, Juju, and I'll find it here in a minute. I was going through some things and looking about where we're talking about Jason Poe and Kyle Duggar, All-American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Bear, there's a running play, pick up a 5, 2nd and 5 now.
Okay. All-Americans.
Down through the years?
No. Virginia Union has 2 All-Americans. Their defensive back, Sterling Hammond, 6'1", 210 senior, and their kicker, Jefferson Sousa, 6'1", 185 junior, are both listed on the D2 All-American team. The same one that Poe and Duggar are listed on. They're 2 All-Americans, so I would expect that game. And it's a 1 o'clock start up there.
It is
1 o'clock start up there in Richmond, Virginia. It could be warm. Away from home, that's going to be a test. That'll be a test for the Bears after this one.
I don't think we've played Virginia Union since the Wayne Hicks era, back in the early 2000s. I think we played them up there 1 year and played them down here 1 year.
We played Virginia State a few years ago, I remember.
Sure
going
did.
Up there.
Here's a handoff, delayed handoff, and a running for the first down. Boy, nice run that time up the middle. Back-to-back first downs now for St. Augustine as Troy Geathers out of Duquesne, a transfer from Duquesne. I was looking at the roster. They do indeed have 24 transfers on their football team. That time a run for a first to the 47 near midfield. 1st and 10 now, 4 receivers out, running back alongside the right hip of the quarterback, Jones. Calling the signals, standing at his own 42. Backs up, motions the running back to take the handoff, and he does. As he cuts back over midfield into the 48-yard line, Joseph on the tackle for the Bears. And so the Falcons pick up their, oh, nope, that's not a first down. 2nd down and 6, 2nd and 6 now. 8:10 to go here in the third quarter. Bears on top, 61-7. Again, as you mentioned, Bears are ranked highly in a lot of the polls this year, as high as 3rd in one Division II poll, but 8th in the coaches poll, the American Football Coaches Association poll. That's where they ended the season last year, 8th, and started this year, 8th. Here's a deep pass down the field. Bears had really, I thought, was throwing to one of our guys, as one of the defenders had great coverage that time. Incomplete pass, going to bring up 3rd and long now for the Falcons. But, Jack, the number 2 team in the nation, Ferris State, they played Thursday night. They lost in the championship game to Valdosta State, and they barely hung on. I think they had to kick a last-second field goal and won by 1 point. But everything else, most of the top 10 teams have won big so far in Division II football in week 1 of the season.
And I don't think you'll get, as long as you win, I don't think you'll get berated too bad by the people that do the ratings this early in the year. Good coverage.
And knocked away by the Bear defender. I believe that there was an offside call against the Bears, and the quarterback said, we get a free play, let's throw it deep. And he chunked it deep, and Bears knocked it away incomplete, but it's going to be an offside against the LR Bears, and that should give, or it's going to be pretty close for a first down for the Falcons.
Yeah, it's going to be, first down. But, ratings are so fickle, Juju, because a lot of times if coaches are doing the rating, they are less likely to give anybody a deduction in points because they only score 60 against somebody instead of scoring 90 against somebody, or they only win by, 10 points instead of winning by 14 points. The coaches know early on in the year people are feeling their way and everything, and a win is a win is a win. Now, later on in the year, toward the end of the season, you scrape by a team that's in last place and you're in first and you beat them 14-13, that could hurt you. But not early in the season, I wouldn't think.
Especially when you look at strength of schedule and stuff like that when they determine the seedings for the playoffs. You're absolutely right. You know, the Bears were ranked 5th in the computer rankings. They go by strength of schedule and how well you played, and they were 5th in the preseason poll this year. So depending if it's human or if it's a computer, LR is a top 10 team nonetheless in Division II football. It's second down and short, handoff down to about the 34. So St. Augustine putting something together here in the midway portion of the third quarter with the Bears on top here, 61-7. Did you catch the information that the director of, I don't say director anymore, of intercollegiate athletics, the vice president of athletics, Kim Page, said about the new stadium plans, that they're looking at everything, that you only have one, it's like being a parent. You only have one chance to be a good parent. You only have one chance to rebuild a stadium. Well, and the Bears are looking at everything right now.
We talked about this at the scrimmage a couple of weeks ago. I said, have you got anything in mind? And she said, well, right now, we're going to look at the entire process of, that we can renovate not only the home side but the visitor side. They want to make a real nice entrance over on that side where the majority of the people come in. And a lot of people on our side come in over here, and it's been improved a lot with the new Bears Club Center in the McGahee building. But they want to make a nicer entrance, and I think they'll have some real nice bathrooms, concession stands on that side. Probably on this side will be redone, reworked. I think that's really in the works and one of the things they feel like they really have to have. I think there'll be some improvements in the press box.
President's box.
The president's box downstairs. Although I think our president's box is one thing about it. It's a great president's box because he can bring a lot of people up here. A lot of those places we go, they can't have about 8-10 people in the president's box. But we've got room down there. But they'll redo that somehow or another. There might be some additions. I've been pushing to put another story on this and let the coaches and the filmers get up there to free up all the area where we are for media and the game operations and that kind of thing would free up some space. And the coaches could be up there. Of course, there'll be an elevator, have to be put in, that type of thing. So
St. Augustine continued to drive against the Bear reserve defense, and they're down inside the 20-yard line, down to about the 15. Let's go down to the sideline. Lanny, what's your thought about seeing some of the LR reserves in here on defense and seeing St. Augustine move the football?
Well, it's kind of like I said with the offense was out there. These guys are just doing a lot of great execution. They know what they're supposed to do. You haven't seen the substitutions on their side, so I think the second team's doing a very good job.
4:53 to go in the third. Bears lead 61-7. Back to pass is Jones under pressure. Escapes it. He's going to run left down to the 15, get the first down, and pushed out of bounds inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. That should be good enough for a first and goal now for the Falcons. And that time Jones showed his speed as he stepped through a tackle or two, Jack, and ran to the marker over there and picked up the first down.
Well, you could see right there, we had two. The lineman came around on a stunt, had a dead shot at him and flat missed him. Then somebody came out of the secondary, looked like one of the linebackers, and he had a great shot at him, and he missed him too. So, that's where they're on the second team right now, trying to get better to work up to the first team.
First and goal now, Falcons. Trying to get on the board since the first quarter, and handoff, and he is met by a stone wall. The entire Bear front line with the stop that time, led by Joseph. Should be right, maybe thrown for a loss, back to the 11. Loss of 2. Second down and goal. No, it's going to be fourth down. He didn't make the first down. I thought he made the first down, Jack.
On the last play, I did too.
I'm sorry about that, Lenny. Thank you. Fourth down and 4 now. 4th and 4 now for the Falcons. They're going to call it a long 3. At the ball is set at about the 11.5-yard line, or right at the 11. Timeout, Falcons. We'll keep it right here. Again, thank you to all of our sponsors, our corporate partners, being part of the Lenoir-Rhyne Sports Network again this season. Dunkin' Donuts, Pepsi Cola, Blowing Rock Draft House and Brewery, Dr. Richard Williams Chiropractic, Muscle RX, Carolina West Wireless, bringing you our sideline reporter tonight, Landy Ford, and Paramount Automotive, part of the Bears Sports Network this year. And again, star of the game coming afterwards, brought to you by the fine folks at Fanfare Milton Reich, giving us the opportunity to select the star of the game. And
If you ever have a chance to go down to Union Square in downtown Hickory, they've remade downtown Hickory, Jack.
Is it finally back open?
It's about 65-70%.
Oh, okay.
But it was good enough last night to hold the big pep rally under the sails.
I heard there was a good crowd
There
there
was.
too. And I went down to Milton Store a couple times this summer, and it wasn't the easiest thing to get in there because of all the construction going on. But, boy, when that's finished, look at here. They're going field goal.
They are.
Got to be a fake.
17-yard line. It's a dropped football, and it's tackled by the Bears. So a muffed field goal attempt, and I believe that's the punter. Number 35 is the punter and the holder. He's had a tough night tonight, Lanny.
Well,
that's correct.
Lenny, that would look like a bad snap, though,
It was. It was not a good snap. And I think most of the problems they've had on the kicking game has been from the snap and not exactly from the punter or the holder.
Well, I'll tell you this, though, and this is coming from having been a holder and having been a punter, too. The snaps have been not good, but you got to catch them. You know, if the guy that I played for, if I'd have dropped through all these steps that's been here today, they'd had somebody else in my place come Monday. I can promise you that.
But back in the day, that was a quarterback handling that ball.
Well, that's true, but I was a punter, too. You know, I still was used to catching it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Those guys have to catch the ball. That's what you practice. They're out there. I doubt if he does anything all during practice is catch snaps and practice punting.
Right. That's become the position of the punter is also the holder.
Tate Beaver on the carry after the turnover by St. Augustine or St. Augustine. And Beaver picked up 5 on the play. There's a hard-charging fullback from Fred T. Ford. Gets the nice pickup on first down, 2nd and 5. Gunnar Anderson still in there, quarterback, the Alexander Central High School Cougar product. Under center, man in motion. He'll hand it that way, trying to follow his blockers, and does across the 40-yard line. Nice run that time by the freshman running back out of Georgia is Marcus Smith out of Rockmont, Georgia.
He was not down. He rolled across the player. He never touched the ground. We've seen it happen a couple of times, and these guys have been sharp enough to get up and continue to run.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think he just early whistled it. I agree with you on that, Lanny. What I saw up here was the same thing. He rolled across the body of that guy, and he just kept on going. You know, Coach Cronick's doing exactly what he wanted to do, though. There's been this is our second possession.
Yeah.
You know, we had more scores in the first 5 minutes of the game than we've had possessions in the third quarter of the game, simply because he's doing exactly what he wants to do.
Gunnar Anderson under center. Turns it, hands it. Met at the line of scrimmage. Not much running room that time. Damian Devine, freshman out of Fitzgerald, Georgia, thrown for a loss.
He's a little bigger kid. He's 190 pounder, 6 feet, 190 pounder. He's a little bigger kid. But, you know, Coach Cronick is like most coaches. He doesn't want to look poor, but he wants his kids to play hard, but he doesn't want to embarrass the other team in this situation. And you know, he's running base offense now. You know, a while ago we saw him hit the play action pass, but that was early in the third quarter. I don't know if we'll see that again. But, you know, their defensive backs have gotten a little bit deeper than they were a while ago because of that. 2nd and 10.
Man in motion. I believe this is Brown. Cutting near midfield, pushed out of bounds.
Number 10.
Nope, this is another. This is a backup. He played high school quarterback out of Columbia, Elijah Juan Robinson. He was a quarterback out of Columbia and Keenan High School, and they moved him to wide receiver. Again, must be an athlete.
Yeah, and 6 feet, 192. He's a good athlete, you know, size-wise.
He was an option quarterback.
You know, and one of the things I like about kids like that, if the other team knows about kids like that on your team, they'll always have in the back of their mind he might throw the ball on a halfback pass type of play or reverse or something. And you know, he'll have one of those in the offense somewhere along the line before it's over. You can count on that. I don't think we've begun to see what Coach Cronick can do with this offense.
9-yard pickup. This time Beaver cuts back, gets the first down, holding on to the ball with both hands. I mean, he looks like a throwback fullback, Lanny Ford, to go back maybe to the old wishbone.
Well, when you talk about the fullback and the wing T offense, that's what you are. You're one of those bruiser backs. You only get to play between the guards. They don't let you do anything else.
You know, he looks like to me, too, he's got a little bit of quickness. He doesn't look slow getting into the line of scrimmage and then, making that little cut. He does not look slow at all. He's got some maneuverability, and they're going to let it run out now.
End of the third quarter, your score, Lenoir-Rhyne 61 and St. Augustine 7. Back with the fourth quarter on the Bears Sports Network right after this.
Rolling Rock Draft House and Brewery is a proud supporter of the Lenoir.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
It even goes well with away games. This is the Pepsi that was made for your mom's famous 5-alarm chili. You know, the one she refuses to give the recipe to?
Never gonna happen.
Don't worry, your secret's safe with us. This is the Pepsi that makes you say, hee-hee, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, and baby. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Since 1967, Catawba Valley Health System has built a tradition of strong relationships with the people, businesses, and communities of the Catawba Valley. As the region's largest not-for-profit community health system, our mission includes improving the health status of the region and serving as the health safety net for the community by caring for all in need, regardless of ability to pay and without the use of tax dollars. Catawba Valley Health System is proud to support the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears as part of our commitment to the community. Go Bears!
Back here as we start the fourth quarter of play. Second down and 13 for LR, and in the St. Augustine territory now at the 45-yard line as LR hopes to get something going. Is Gunnar Anderson in a quarterback for the Bears, this time out of the shotgun. Or have they changed quarterbacks? Yep. They have changed quarterbacks. This is the left-hander, and he's going to run with the football at the 40 and tackled inside the 40-yard line. The transfer from James Madison. Hayden Mann played his high school ball at Mebane in near Burlington. Picked up nice yardage, bringing up third down and 7. So there's, again, a reserve, Jack. First time that we've seen a left-hander in a Lenoir-Rhyne uniform in quite a long time.
Yeah, and that, I tell you, he looked pretty smooth right there. He got quick pressure, and he didn't stand back there very long and wait. He took that football and immediately took it to the outside and looked smooth running down the field.
So last year, Lenoir-Rhyne had 6 different players take a snap at quarterback. And so far this season in the first game, this is the third different quarterback to get under center. Man this time under center sends a man in motion to the right. Timeout, Bears. You know, last time we were up in this booth, you recall back in early December, Mike, you about jumped out of the press box on the miracle at Moretz.
Yep.
And that came down to the wire. This game certainly has not done that.
No, it's not going to, I don't
but
think.
There was every bit of excitement to kick off tonight's game as we saw back in December last year.
Oh, the expectation level was so high. I mean, it's been building around here ever since the McGahee building got during the summer. Then we had the bleacher situation we haven't even hardly touched on. You know, when they find out back in June they're going to have to replace all the bleachers on the home side, and everybody's in a state of panic, and Vice President Pate and President Witt said, ho, hang on here. We got this covered. And Coach Connick's told the story 2 or 3 times. I've heard him. He said, Coach Witt said, hey, don't worry, we got this. We got this. And sure enough, within 2 months, we got bleachers slammed in here, just absolutely beautiful. And if you had not been here before, you wouldn't know that these hadn't been the bleachers. Been here forever.
Back to action here, 3rd and 5. Hayden Mann is a left-handed quarterback. Ball's on the far left hash. Under center, rolls right, man open, dumps it off to him. Picks up the first down, sidesteps the man, 25, down to the 20, still rolling, spins his man, and is pushed out of bounds. Boy, a nice little athletic move that time by, I think, is that 24, Lanny?
J.P. Palmer?
That's correct.
J.P. Palmer is listed as a defensive back. Redshirt freshman out of Townsend, Georgia, in McIntosh High School. Just took the dump-off pass from Mann and used his athletic ability to pick up the first down right in front of you, Lanny.
And, you know, that was a lot of effort. He brought 3 different tackles before they finally got him wrestled out of bounds.
And I've said that I don't know if Lenoir-Rhyne football has ever been in better shape, Jack and Lanny, because even though back in the early 2000s when Fred Goldsmith and Mike Houston got things turned around from 2010 all the way up to 2014 when the Bears won 4 consecutive conference championships, made it to the NCAA Division II finals, they did not have the depth that this program has right now. And we've seen it. We saw it last year, and again we're seeing it this year already tonight, the depth that the Bears have over other Division II schools that we played.
Well, and I think part of that is you have seen the commitment going back to Fred Goldsmith and Dr. Powell and Neil McGahee that, you know, we're going to bring the scholarship program up to the top. Wow, I thought he was going to break it there for a touchdown for a second. But bring our scholarship program up to the top. So now, instead of being 4, 5, 6 scholarships behind, we're giving the full amount. And we have people here that are working with our coaches, not just in football, but in all sports, to make sure that they get the quality as good as they can financially for our athletes that are recruited to come to Lenoir-Rhyne. Now, when you have a facility, and you mentioned it earlier, that facility, the McGahee facility, is not just for football, it's for all sports, and all sports will be taking advantage of it, and it's fantastic. You put all these things together, then you take people like Dr. Witt and Vice President Pate, who are people of action, and I tell you what, they really and truly adhere to the same thing that the predecessor said, Neil McGahee, there is no finish line. You're not finished. You know, I don't care where you get to. You got to move on from there. And as soon as one thing was finished, we started on another. Well, that's where we are now. As soon as one thing gets finished, they start on another. And it's not just good for the athletic department. It's good for this entire university.
Way to make a change on the lineup. Number 10 is not Elijah Robinson. It's Bryson Godfrey. The teammate, Alexander Central High School product, transfer from Coastal Carolina. He has got a couple of nice carries tonight. He and Gunnar Anderson were teammates for the Cougars for a long time. Here's a handoff right side and getting inside the 5-yard line, or right about at the 5-yard line. I'm looking for you, Landy. You got out of the way pretty quickly. Way to use those quick feet over there.
Got to make sure I keep these knees intact. I got through sports with them. I want to keep them now. You're about a little less than a yard short.
4th and less than 1. Marcus Smith on the carry, and here comes Godfrey back in the lineup. You mentioned he's a good size, Jack. He is about 6'1". He was a speedster, outstanding running back for the Cougars at Alexander Central, transferred from Coastal Carolina back in the spring.
And this entire, you know, they've sort of got their feet under them now, so to speak. And now the offensive line looks a little bit better than they did earlier.
Handoff straight up the middle and a touchdown. Boy, big hole. You could have drove several Mack trucks through. Maybe, Lanny, you could have ran through that hole.
I could, but maybe not now.
Who was it? Who scored that?
45.
I can't get the numbers. I swear these numbers are
They're tough to beat.
Number 45
Amin
is Amin Stevens. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. He really hit that hole quickly. That was quicker than I've seen him hit. I mean, he hit that hole in a hurry. And I think now it's a matter of the alignment depth. They've worn it down.
Block kick.
It's coming back.
And here we go. A flag down.
He was offside.
And St. Augustine's going to take the block kick into the end zone.
He was offside.
Yep.
That's how he got there so quick.
Von Covington. That's how he got there.
I'll tell you, you hate it for the young man, but he was so far offside. He came around. Our blocker was afraid to move, afraid they'd call him for illegal procedure.
There is a major flag on the play. So the Bears have had at the last 2 possessions, Mike McCree, 75 yards and 74 yards. 13 plays that time, and they converted. So what Coach Cronick has talked about with some of his reserves getting the time to work together, Jack. They had a touchdown drive of 13 plays. The previous touchdown drive, Mike, and that time was 13 plays and 74 yards. So they've used a chunk of the yardage and of the clock and just matriculated the ball down the field.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have more yardage in the second half on fewer possessions than they had in the first half as far as total yardage. Update, West Alabama 21-9 over Limestone second quarter. And I saw that Virginia Union score here just a minute ago. It was they're playing Hampton, and Hampton was up by 3 points. I think it was 17-14.
Okay. And West Alabama's 24th, 25th in the nation.
Let's see what they rank. They're showed here. Winston-Salem Pembroke still 7-3. West Alabama's 25th.
Okay, 25th in the nation. Extra point is up and good. So the Bears now 68 and St. Augustine 7. Back with more. Stay with us. Moretz Stadium season opener 2019. The Bears are rolling big time here tonight. Juju Phillips along with Jack Huss, Mike McCree, and Lanny Ford bringing you all the action. This is the Bears Sports Network on WSVM Radio 96.5 FM.
When Turf Pro's on your side.
Back here, Juju Phillips, Jack Huss, Mike McCree, Lanny Ford. 10.5 minutes to go in the ball game. The Bears are 68 points. I'd have to see the record book the last time LR scored 70 in a regular season game, Jack. I don't recall them since you and I have been broadcasting, except in 2015 when the Bears hit 92. One of the highest scoring games in LR history here tonight. And here's a return kick up to about the 15.
It would have been a while. I don't know that I remember. Now, what did we have against Catawba last year? 63?
Think so, 62.
Against Catawba?
94, I know they scored 60-some points. I don't remember them getting over 70, at least in my time.
Aha.
So we'll see.
Aha. I know where to look.
They beat Bridgewater one year.
Oh, that doesn't count.
It was 70-some.
Yeah.
You'd have to go back and look as he looks. We'll keep you abreast. 10:28 to go in the ball game. St. Augustine still with their starting quarterback in there, and he's sacked down inside the 5-yard line, down to about the 2. What is that, guys? About 7 or 8 sacks here tonight.
The Bears scored 63 against Limestone last year and 63 against Catawba. 59 against Mars Hill, 51 against North Greenville. Wow, 51 against Pembroke. We scored a lot of points last year, didn't we?
9th in the nation.
Let's see.
Average 41 a game. Second down and long. Lanny, we'll come down to you. What's the holdup here? Is there a timeout on the field?
Injury down about the other 40.
Oh, okay.
St. Augustine, where I'm coming from.
Okay. I see it now.
Yep.
So an injury timeout. Bear fans who have witnessed here tonight, a lot of them have stayed around, including the marching band. Fireworks coming after the game. Absolutely, Mike. Thank you. A lot of the fans are back there in the tailgate area on the practice field, sticking around. Fireworks to follow tonight's game.
2010, the Bears scored 59 in the opening game, Juju.
Yeah?
Against Chowan.
Handoff, maybe another safety.
No, they're going to mark him out of the end zone. Early Christmas present.
A little pushing and shoving going on. Yeah, getting chippy down there.
Masculine misbehavior. I wrote that one down from last year, Juju. I think that was yours.
No, it wasn't mine.
You didn't. Well,
mine is verbal processing.
Yeah, I heard. Well, masculine misbehavior is one I heard. In Concord in 2000, we scored 54 points. Opening game.
How many points did you score against Davidson in 75?
69.
There you go. That's the last time I remember them scoring that many points.
69 to 14, I believe it was.
Okay. It's 68-7.
This will be an interesting play call right here.
Yes, it is. 3rd down and 24.
I know what I'd run. I'd throw it to this wide receiver here real quick. We're 10 yards off of him back here.
Lanny, the ball's inside the 1, is it not?
Right at the 1 yard line.
All right.
I'd throw that back of the end zone.
Flag.
He's keeping everybody in for protection, or he's going to run. Now, obviously, he was going to run at the end. Let's see, 75.
So the Falcons call a timeout.
69-14.
Okay. Hey, besides Lenoir-Rhyne celebrating its 100 years of football this year, did you know? College football is celebrating its 150th year. The NFL is celebrating its 100th season.
Year.
And the Carolina Panthers celebrating its 25th season.
You know what I couldn't understand is they talking about the NFL observing 100 years, but Green Bay was 101. How did Green Bay play a year professional? I guess they figured it professional. It wasn't in the NFL.
Yeah. Thing is, the NFL, they've had so many different leagues dating all the way back. Green Bay's been around. They used to be called the Chicago. Before that, they were the Staleys, the Chicago Staleys, and teams have moved around quite a bit. But it's really an anniversary year when we talk about football, and especially in the South, Lanny.
And it is, and I agree with you guys. You really can't keep up with all the leagues that they've had and how many teams have moved, and it's almost like professional football was like the wrestling of old. You had your own little territories.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. In 1956, the Bears defeated Newport News Apprentice School 67-0, the opening game of the season. The year before, they beat Newport News 40-0.
So in 1956, this is the biggest opening.
67-0.
56.
It's 68-7, so that's 61 points. So we need one more touchdown to break the differential record. Lanny, we've already tied a record held by many teams during the season. We scored on an extra point, a safety, a field goal, and a touchdown in this game.
And we're not done.
Well, I can't think of another way to score, though. 1, 2, 3, 6, and that's it, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, and 6.
Well, we could score on a blocked extra point or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'd still be a 2-pointer, though. Yeah, when they put that in, that almost screwed the rule up.
Yeah.
What are they doing now?
They're going to have to call another timeout. They can't get set.
Well, they 2, 4, 6, 8,
Why don't they go
9.
for it?
They don't have 10 people out there.
Why don't they go for it?
And is that their last timeout?
No,
it might be.
They only got 10 people on the. I don't see. Yeah, there he comes. They didn't have 10 people back there. That's why they called timeout.
Bus is running at the top of the hill.
What was that? I didn't hear.
I said the bus is running at the top of the hill.
They got both of them running up there. I got news for you. They've been there since the halftime.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Hey,
if
I was that offensive lineman, I would be headed that way. Like I told you before the game, they only had 7 guys working out down here with the offensive line.
They don't have enough kids out here for this heat and to take on a team in the top 10.
With and have the depth that we got.
Yeah.
We played a ton of players.
And we don't lose a whole lot when we drop back.
Not drop off at all.
And one thing we know from last year is that our defensive line shuffles people all the time. We got about 8 defensive linemen that play every game all the time. It's not like there's a first team and a second team. Now, Dan Luba's the one guy that's probably going to be in there in any situation.
This time, a nice punt, end over end. Takes a roll into the LR player, and he takes a knee at the 45.
Good move.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that. Kyle Duggar wasn't on the field.
I think that's just the way he punts, if you don't know the truth.
I think you're right.
I mean, that's a classy move by the Bears that time, taking the knee. And that was number 82, DeAndre Lester, the freshman out of Washington, Georgia, and Wilkes High School.
Well, you mentioned several times, Juju, that, that St. Augustine has Coach Chavis has how many transfers? And
24.
24 transfers. So that tells me something has been going on. He brought in that many transfers. I don't know if he was trying to upgrade the program as fast as he could, because a lot of times those transfers will come in, they can play for you quicker. But, whatever he's trying to do, bringing in 24 transfers, that should up them a little bit quicker. Now, obviously it hadn't proved tonight, but, again, I think their biggest problem tonight was numbers. They just didn't have a lot of numbers to go up against our numbers in terms of the quality of and particularly in the line play. I'm not sure they couldn't match up with us back for back, but line for line, I don't think they could in offensive defensive line.
There's a penalty on the play, and it's going to be against the Bears. We're down to 7.5 to go. LR trying to get over the 70 mark tonight, leading 68-7. LR is on the road next week when the Bears travel up to Richmond, Virginia to take on Virginia Union, a top 30 program out of the CIAA. They were top one or two teams in that league, Jack. They and Bowie State have been the contenders in that league for the last number of years. Here's a handoff again around the right-hand side, trying to get over the 50-yard line, and is drugged down. That is Bryson Godfrey taking the handoff, and he'll get it over the 50. The Alexander Central High School product and Coastal Carolina transfer picks up a few yardage. It'll bring up 2nd down and 14.
I don't know if that the numbers are right in here. I'm looking at the number 25 made that tackle, Emmanuel Coles, and they got him at 5'7", 190. That number 25 out there is about 6'3" and about 215, and he's a linebacker and he can run like the dickens. That was a heck of a play. So I don't think the roster that we have is correct.
Watch for the Bears to come up with the fullback here in a play or two. They're rocking them from side to side.
This time they hand it straight up the middle, and running is Godfrey, and he takes a shot inside the 44-yard line. Bryson Godfrey picks up about 5 on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and 8 now for the Bears.
This has got the potential to be the first punt of the night, correct? We haven't punted the ball.
I don't think Michael Owen has kicked it tonight. You're right.
I'm not sure that'll happen with 45 at the fullback.
Well, I think there's a potential, too, that he may go for it. If he gets down to if we get this down to 4th and less than 5 at the 40-yard line, he may not punt it. And he's eating as much clock. He's bringing his quarterback all the way over to the sideline, and actually telling him to play. His signalers are standing down here not doing anything. They're not signaling plays anymore.
Play action pass, man rolling to his left, looking that way, will tuck and run it, picks up the 1st down, and steps out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. You can tell he's a runner, Jack, and a left-hander transfer from James Madison. They moved him to safety last year, and he got hurt, and he decided he wanted to play quarterback. And he got the blessing of Mike Houston before he left James Madison.
Yeah.
Mike said some great things about him, said he's a perfect fit for Lenoir-Rhyne and what they want to do offensively.
Well, the young man right there, that was the play we've seen, the motion, fake fullback, and then flip it out to the guy in the flat. Well, he rolled, and he got outside, and instead of flipping it, he could have just run it for as far as the guy could have run after he caught it. So he just kept on going. I always like to kind of agree with the quarterback in that situation, because if you throw it, it's still got to be caught, And that's where you see the guy drop a pass, right in his hands, and then you say, dang, why didn't the quarterback run it? You blame the quarterback. Well, when he runs for the 1st down, don't say, well, he should have thrown it. Give him an opportunity. That kid, I tell you, I feel good about this kid as a backup. I feel good with Gunner in there, and I feel good about this kid.
So a handoff to the fullback, as Lanny talked about, is Josh Stewart. And the redshirt junior out of Hope Mills and Gray Creek High School picks up about 4. 2nd down and 6. Clock is rolling down to 4:22, and I think the Bears they come to the sidelines.
They're going to call a timeout before the play clock expires.
I got you. I'm not really. Yeah, he's standing there looking at it. I'm not sure exactly what he's.
I think we're getting another quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah, number 18.
It's Trevor Shue.
Yeah, he's got to be good if he wears 18. They wouldn't give that to just anybody.
6'1", 190-pound red shirt sophomore out of Harrisburg, North Carolina, Hickory Ridge High School. He and Dan Luba were teammates.
and Trevor's parents come to a lot of the games. Again, he is one of the kind of kids you like to have in the program. Backup quarterback and get his chance to play. Played a little bit last year in a couple of games, Jack. And, last year LR had 6 different quarterbacks take snaps. Tonight they've had 4 in the first game of the year.
Well, and, a lot of that, we did have some injuries, but a lot of that happened too because, the Bears, piled up a bunch of points in some games later on and were able to play some of these kids.
We're down to about 4 minutes to go in the ball game, 4:07.
And I can promise you right now, too, as a coach, you got some kids over there on your sideline that work their butt off all the time and are good citizens and do everything that's asked of them, and you want to get them in this football game tonight if you possibly can.
Here's Beaver. He's running straight up the middle, and he's tackled at about the 30. On 2nd down and 6, he'll pick up maybe 2 yards on the play. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 6. 3rd and 6. And about the 30-yard line as the Bears are letting the clock roll down to under 4 minutes. As Shue comes to the sidelines and gets the play from Drew Cronick, who's going to go to 35-5, Jack, as a head football coach.
That's not bad.
That is impressive.
That's pretty good.
About 85%.
I tell you what, he's established a program, not just here, but it's culture. You use the word you want to use. But the program has been established here that this is the way we are and this is what we're going to do. And, boy, I tell you what, the kids that we've attracted, boy, what a great tackle that is, number 21.
Sure was. Bryson Godfrey. Otherwise, he was shoestringed and knocked down. Otherwise, he'd have taken it to the house.
That's a freshman, according to their roster, Maurice Nelson. But he came up there from safety in a hurry, made that tackle. But, Coach Cronick has established the kind of program that he wants to have. And everybody is bought in, the coaching staff, the administration, the school, the fans. Everybody here has just bought in and gotten behind this program, and that's what makes it work. Everybody's on the same page moving forward, and that's what makes a great football program, basketball program, but you name it. And what sustains it is when you can get people like that are behind you that just want to keep going forward. Just, we want to keep moving forward. There is no finish line.
It's going to be close, guys.
Yeah. And the fullback moved forward and picked up the first down, I think.
It's real close. According to Lanny's down there where he can see better than we can, but
he didn't even measure. That was pretty close, though.
He gave it to us because he knows we'll run the clock out. He's not stupid. That's a good official. You didn't like them other calls, Lanny, but I like this call. You give that to us, and we're going to run the clock out.
Yeah, we want to get the fireworks started.
I won't get upset with that one. You're right.
Yeah, that's what we call game management in basketball officiating. That's what we would call game management. Get this game over with. Both teams, everybody wants it over with, okay?
Fireworks to follow here. Buses are getting ready to leave, and the trucks are pulling in for the fireworks.
We probably have to run about 2 more plays unless he scores.
And there's a play here on the left-hand side is the running back, and he's being spun inside the 10. He may get in the end zone.
Wow.
What an effort by the Bears inside the 5 down to about the 1 yard line. Devine on the nice run that time. My goodness, he took it inside the 10-yard line, just ran a simple sweep. And Damian Devine, the freshman out of Fitzgerald, Georgia, gets the big play inside the – they're going to mark it at the 2.
That's the highlight play of the night as far as I'm concerned.
And, I don't think Coach Cronick wants to score again,
no, he
but
doesn't.
You can't tell him not to.
Yep, unless he takes a knee. He could take a knee right here. Yeah, he's going to. He's going to take a knee right here.
Headset comes off, so you're right.
We only got to run one more play. This may be the last play.
Victory formation, it looks like.
Well, he's going to snap the ball at, 52 seconds? No. He snapped it at 55 seconds, so we got to snap it one more time.
He did kick the play clock.
The competitive portion of the football game has long since passed. It sure has. We're down to 40 seconds. 2nd and goal.
When exactly did you come up with that thought? When did that first hit you? About the middle of the first quarter?
No, I just thought about it. Honest to God, just thought about it right now.
I'm not talking about the way you worded it. I'm talking about the thought that this game wasn't going to be very good from their standpoint. About the middle of the first quarter.
No, about Wednesday. Last Wednesday. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up as the Bears go to center field, and they're going to shake hands, and that's the final score. It is the Bears come away with the season-opening win between the Bricks, their first season opening win since 2015. Lenoir-Rhyne knocks off St. Augustine 68-7 in the first meeting between these two schools, as Coach Drew Cronick over there on the far side at about the 40-yard line talking with the head coach for Tim Chavis for the Falcons. Outmatched tonight in the CIAA Conference, and the Bears are obviously the class of the South Atlantic Conference, along with the Wingate, Carson Newman, top three teams that were picked in the preseason. And the Bears showed their impressive nature tonight with a big win, 68-7. We'll kick it right here. I see if Lanny can get a word or two with head coach Drew Cronick. Don't forget, if you're in the Hickory area and you're out and about driving around listening to us on 96.5 FM WSVM or on the AM side 1490 or streaming with any connected speakers and devices, don't forget fireworks coming up in just a few minutes. You got a few minutes, come on over here and catch the fireworks extravaganza tonight. As Coach Cronick and Lanny nearing midfield. Let's see, is he taking it down? He's going to talk to the team real fast. And we'll take a quick timeout. Lanny, come back to you for a quick post-game show and some interview and some sound on tonight's win from head coach Drew Cronick. Stay with us. Post-game, Bears win 68-7. Back after this on the Bears Sports Network.
Quality work.